On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, we're going to talk to you about lots of little news bits, which hopefully you care about. Because otherwise, why did you click on this video? Wait, no, please don't go. We need your ad rev.
I love you.
Don't go. But, hi. Welcome to the show. This is Let's Talk FGO, your weekly podcast about FGO. Sometimes the weeks are slow, sometimes the weeks are fast. But, we two here hosts are, I don't think that made grammatical sense, but I'm going to go with it, to make this show be created right now. You may be listening to it, but as I'm saying these words, the show doesn't exist yet, so we're going to make it true right now for you, audience. I Omega, he's lucky.
A little more confused than I am lucky right now, but I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka a lot of movie magic. And while we here at City Omega like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events from the JP and EM version of the game, so anyone not want to spoil should prepare for the road trip to India.
So hypothetically, this video may or may not have the Lost Boat 4 pregame in it. It's already written. We're going to play it by ear, and we're going to see if we get into like an hour of this, and I'm like, yeah, there's no show. Let's do Lost Boat 4 pregame, or not. No promises, though.
No promise.
But alright, that's our intro. Before we go any further, I would like to remind everybody this episode is brought to you by our lovely patrons, including such names as Adam DeHarp, Hanko Comics, Hanko Yume, Architect 10, Plagos OG, Carlos, Qua, Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Jonathan Sandoval, Kylie Denton, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Regent Raptor, Rogue Robin, Charvor, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Soda over Tuver, and 723. If you like what we do and want to see more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Thank you for support, as always, everybody.
Thank you.
And Lucky sips his hydration device.
Yep. My hydration contation device. Contation? Yes, contation.
That's okay. I'm pretty sure I got my grammar backwards earlier when we did this, so. Hi, welcome to Let's Talk FGO. We speaks good.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I should put in the intro just an official disclaimer that we do not English well, so don't expect us to do any other language well either.
Yes, God forbid if I have to say some certain names if we actually do the pregame later. Nah. Don't expect me to say English correctly. You've heard me just now. But alright, so that's the Patreon read. Now it's time to check in with everybody's favorite Kohai, Mash.
Senpai! 起きてください.
That's right, everybody. At a whopping 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it's time for our regular segment for tips. Wake the fuck up, Senpai!
Oh shoot, did I say fucking like within 30 seconds? I think I did.
I'll go back and check it later. Hold on, let me write a note to myself. I'm just gonna write, check fuck.
I hope you utterly forget what that is, and like 2 hours you come back to me, and you just come back, you're just like, what the actual fuck?
Well, as usual, my handwriting is terrible, so hopefully I remember it says check. Also, wow, I just realized, man, the F on my fuck is really goofed up. It's because I had to take my right arm across my desk between my mic arm and my pop filter stand, so it's really bad. Anyway, hi, this is Pro Tips. So, I got 2 for today. 2 for you. First of all, Lost Boat 4 will be soon, so get ready to get there, but also, there will probably be some combination of pre-release interlude campaign bit first, so, like, hold on to your horses. I'm fairly certain they won't cut in line, just because there's at least 2 banners out of those 2 events that need to come out, and I do think some of those interludes are, like, skill upgrades and stuff, so they're kind of important. So I expect we'll be doing those next, but, yeah, there's no guarantees. We've got just over a month-ish before anniversary times. Also, in case you're deciding to sleep on those hunting quests, you're wrong, don't sleep. Not only does each hunting quest have a chance for a QP drop, 2 million a pop, if you get it. If you get the mysterious stone statue. But also they drop EXPs like nobody's business, so with that combined with mats, they're incredibly valuable. You should do them. Also, they contain mana prisms. And soon it will be stake time. And by the way, in case anybody doesn't know that we recorded these like a day ahead of time before they go public, yes, currently it is bone time. It is bone zone. Soon will be stake time.
I need some bones. I'm actually trying to put in some reps. Like, he's horrible about it usually, but he's trying. He's trying.
And now we will, in the under 5 minute mark, skip records and Not All the World Evil. Robin will write something funny there. And we'll move straight to, did you finish your master missions? Did you thank your Robin today? This week's master missions are perform 30 FP summons, defeat 3 divine servants, defeat 15 undead enemies, defeat 15 enemies with the human attribute. Complete a quest with an assassin in your party 5 times, complete a quest with a berserker in your party 5 times. I don't even know what this is for. I guess the hunting quests? That's not really going to help with the servants bit, though, so I guess you need to make sure to do your dailies a little bit, too. Like, servant dailies? It's weird.
Yeah, I probably could have.
It's weird master missions.
looked it up, but I didn't think about it.
It's fine. I gotta remember to do those 30 FP summons myself, though. But, yeah, that's Master Missions. So now we're gonna start shotgunning the news, which we do actually have a lot of small items, so some of which we may or may not talk about. Obviously, the big one is Hunting Quests 5 has launched in NA. Started on the 20th, and will be going until the 27th. It's the Hunting Quests. They do stuff. The order is Bones, Stakes, Pages, Bloodstones and Proofs, Horseshoes, and Scales/Soaps. So if you need those sweet, sweet soaps, you can get those on the last day. And if you want to know what classes and what enemies those are, go watch the news desk I shot, because it started like Thursday night. I broke that all down there, so go watch that video. But then also come back to watch the rest of this video, because we make way more money from mid-rolls than we do on a 5-minute video clip. Anyway, I don't know why, I'm feeling really shilly today. Maybe it's because we just got paid for last month's YouTube revenue, and we did not make that much money this month yet, so... We gotta get the juice on, gotta get a good show in. Watch the show a lot, please. But this next item, Lucky added.
Yes, I said that, so I guess I'll go on with it. So, also over here in North America, we got the Heaven's Feel 3 Spring Song Blu-ray release announcements. Yes, finally. Our release date is August 17th, 2021, and they've already listed up the standard and limited edition prices. And surprising no one, they're not that actually expensive, especially right now. They have a pre-order discount. I think you can get a fair amount off. I think it was only 60-something bucks. Because as soon as I saw that I was literally in the middle of work. I'm like, no, I'm doing this right now. I will fight my boss if I have to. Listen, I'm a little scared of scalpers now. I really am. I never know what they're going to put their greedy little...
sucks. This should be the new, hate crime of our new millennium, is scalping. If you scalp, you're clearly a witch, and we need to stone you or burn you at the stake or something.
Yeah, but no. So Lucky's already put in his pre-order for the limited edition. I will complete the set. At some point, I'll get the Gravity Falls meme of Bronco Stan with the books. I'm gonna put all the Heaven's Feel on there, so it'll be finally I have the whole set. I'm like, perfect. I realize that, I know I realize make good memes, but I realize I post them on my Twitter, and my Twitter is technically not safe for work Twitter, so it's probably not actually my stuff ain't getting out as much as I thought it was. And to be fair, I do retweet a lot of titty and ass. Jesus, Lucky.
Who doesn't?
Are you so horny on me?
But also, he says as he taps over his Twitter profile.
But also, this coincides with the release of Heaven's Feel 1 and 2 on select streaming services soon. I know that they are on Apple TV, Google Play, and the Microsoft Store. I definitely know that one's up because I saw Heaven's Feel 1 on Google Play, but they didn't have 2 up yet. So I don't know. Maybe they're still uploading them. I don't know. So that is good. I also do find it a little weird that it's on Apple TV, Google Play, and the Microsoft Store. I'm like, we have all these other streaming outlets that are way known for anime, and none there, not Crunchyroll.
I mean, movie rentals aren't that weird on those platforms still, so that's
that's
probably
true.
why. I am shocked that PSN wasn't listed there though.
Yeah,
that seems like that would be very appropriate, especially considering the situation Sony is in right now. But hopefully more places, more things. But yeah, finally get a little bit of movement on that. That's good for us. No news yet about Camelot stuff for people who are asking. I assume though that means that they're working on it though.
I hope so.
All right, well, let's go to our next news item. We have arguably this could be in Free Talk as well, but it is technically news because there was a little announcement and stuff. But we have passed the Meihousou Most Foul final tally, so shocking literally nobody. Jalter won the vote. News at 11.
Honestly, it shocked me a little bit because I didn't know the JP version of the votes, and I didn't actually talk to anyone about the voting. I've been fairly remiss in communicating with the community.
Yes, most of that also has been happening in NA spoilers. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was fairly quiet, but there was a little bit of back and forth about what would win.
So,
which is good because I'm glad that people decided to put that in NA spoiler and not discuss potential endings before people had caught up. I know some people were actually waiting a little bit to catch up with the story until the voting period opened. And also, by the way, if you missed the voting period, joke's on you that you only lost. You missed 200 mana prisms?
Yes.
But yeah, we've got the percentages right here.
Yeah. So, John, overwhelming victory. This is what I was actually shook because I'm not gonna lie, I voted for John. I did. My reasons is because, well, I wanted to be the fucking villain. I was like, yes, it was me all along.
Yeah, so I want to throw this out there before we even get to the other percentages, because our Jalter didn't win as overwhelmingly as she did in some other servers, but she did win big. But a lot of people, at least on our community and stuff, have been talking about, oh, it's those Jalter sims voting for Jalter, and I'm like, I don't actually know if that, like, that's probably why it's so over the top in other regions, but I don't actually think that's why people are voting Jalter. It's not just because Jalter is the only woman in this sausage fest. It's probably because her idea is genuinely interesting to reframe the movie as the master, the cameraman or woman, has been there the entire time and is actually the villain, right?
Yeah,
like,
it turns it more into
very,
a
very clever and subversive.
Yeah, it's more of a what do they call those? It's where they smash the word drama and documentary together. I can't fucking think of it. Docudrama, or it's like a drama mockery or something like that. But yeah, no, I was all like, yes, I would like to be the villain. Thank you, please.
Yeah, I expect that's why a lot of people voted, because between that and the fact that for Jalter, her idea of the story conclusion was actually quite sweet, you know, with like being childhood friends with Gabriella and so on and so forth. I can see why her idea is so popular. So next we have Arash at 10%.
Yeah.
I voted Arash, by the way. I thought, honestly, most of these ideas were pretty good. We're gonna have a conversation, I think, about the last two.
Yeah, no, like I'm a little sad. I will say this, how this all turned out.
There's the last two placement I think we can quibble with the audience about, but just in general, I really liked Arash's idea because it was, he's playing to your expectations as a reader, right? He's like, remember how we got introduced to our characters, but they didn't say which was which. And also it reuses a plot line for a character death in an interesting way. This is a personal thing I've been thinking about a lot, probably because I've been replaying the Naruto games. Which
character death?
Yeah, there's a decent amount of character deaths in there, and I've had a lot of thoughts, especially after watching OSP's Trope Talk on character deaths, where I'm like, death is important. I do think sometimes audience members are way too obsessed with characters actually dying, like, to like keep the stakes real or something, when as a writer, killing your characters is usually very wasteful.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh no, Arash caught that losing Ozymandias and the Prince thing is actually like almost a little bit of a letdown.
So
I beat Storm 2, so that should put you in place of where I am.
Yeah.
We'll talk plenty about my Storm experience on What's Up Tomorrow, I think. But yeah, no. So I voted for Arash because I just like this idea seems neat.
Like, honestly, if it wasn't for Jalter being done, I was probably just gonna vote for Arash or Roma.
So Tristan is next with 9.5. Tristan's idea is probably, I would argue, probably the most confusing because Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is also literally the most meta.
Yes, that's the other thing though, that it is the most meta, where he's like, not only will we flip the script and make the cameraman the villain, and Tristan is very sad that Jalter stole his idea. He's like, no, I thought by going last, I would be the coolest, but like, just flipping the script on its head and like addressing things in an unusual way. I do believe, before we go any further, that it's not available now, but when the event ends, you will actually be able to go and check out all the different versions of that segment in the what do I call it, materials archive.
Yes.
So you should be able to go back in my room and check out all those scenes, which I will gladly do. But yeah, so Tristan has kind of the extra clever meta twist. Now these last two. So Salieri got 7.5%, and Ryoma got almost 7%. I'm slightly confused by this. As somebody's already said in our patron chat, Ryoma was robbed. I actually quite liked Ryoma's idea. Like, that was... It was a little bit like Arash's idea to, like, recontextualize the characters and, like, focus on different things and kind of, like, ask questions about why everybody is here.
Mm-hmm.
And also put in Secret Moriarty.
Well, both Arash had a Secret Moriarty, too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it kind of blends those ideas, but as opposed to focusing on the plot beats of the Lost Print, it's more about the character beats of, why the heck is this doctor guy here anyway?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm quite saddened that it scored a little bit lower, especially under Salieri, who, I don't want to say that Salieri's idea is bad. His idea is definitely the weakest, though. In terms of, like, the actual plot, he's just like, he's just looking for the...
His ideas is, I'm fairly... And...
Hold on. I'm breaking up really bad. Okay, there we go. Hold on.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you're still fading in and out a little bit for me. Hold on. I'm not getting any, like, weird bars or anything. Lucky, how's your connection to Discord?
Let's see. I'm green.
Okay, well, a lot of that bit you just said just there cut out a lot, so could you please repeat?
I shall repeat. So when I was basically reading through it, I listened to all their stories, and to me, like they probably didn't do this because they were quote unquote pressed for time and they only had so much they can do. But you could have taken all these ideas and woven them into a single plot line, and probably hit all those beats on there, including Salieri's, because like I said, I do believe that everyone explained their motivations and why they would be there. I was like, none of these actually, well, except for Tristan and his whole meta plot, but even though that kind of exists on the outside. But none of these actual endings actually conflict with each other.
Yeah, it's almost like the actual ending step that comes after the vote step has to resolve everything as well. Because they knew they would have a story beat after that.
Yeah. But, yeah, so Salieri's, it's like, Salieri's is something that's best paired with another person's ending.
Yeah.
Like, probably Jalter's, honestly, because, they have thing together, kind of.
Yeah.
Uncle.
Yeah, so I'll be interested in reading these scenes when they become available.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was the vote result. If you voted, you got 200 mana prisms. We'll talk more about the overall plot structure of this event and the conclusion, I think, after the mailbag break.
Yes.
Okay, next bit of news. In JP, shocking arguably everybody. I actually don't think... well, shock maybe is the wrong word, but I do actually think I didn't see a lot of people going like, oh, that was totally expected. But
no, reruns are usually actually in...
Yeah, this is technically like the second or third time they've done an early summer rerun, but it's still weird. And I don't know, I'd have to double check. I think this may be the earliest. Have we had one in May before?
No, usually they're like June.
Yeah, June or July.
Usually not July, but...
Well, yeah, the summer events are in August, so they sometimes, I think in the earlier years, they would sneak them in July. We obviously have the weird problem of the fact that all our shit is early, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But in case you can't tell from the fact that we're talking about it, the Summer Camp, Servant Summer Camp 2020 is getting a rerun. It's going from the 19th until the 9th of June. Summer 5 rerun. Only the first banner is dropped, and I think the mail banner is queued up as well. It's just normal rerun stuff. I don't think like bonus or anything have changed or anything in the past year. It's perfectly normal. A lot of people are on the lookout for new costumes or units. There's a couple of alternate costumes and sprites that are out there. And there's at least one story character who has yet to be elaborated on in the whole year it's been, so a lot of people are holding out. But in general, I'm going to guess that this is to hold people over until Lost Belt 6, because, golly gee willikers, this event doesn't end until June, when Lost Belt 6 is supposed to happen. Weird.
No, I'm fully predicting that we're going to get this, and then we're going to have some sort of pre-campaign for a week, and then it's Lost Belt time.
There'll probably be a pre-campaign to make sure they do quarter APs and maybe give you some quartz if you finish Lost Belt 5s, any of those 5s, etc., etc. Maybe do a rerun on some important units. Could be a Castoria rerun. I don't know if they're going to go that far, but definitely they could, they've already ran most of the Knights because of the Camelot stuff, but you never know, there could be other characters they want to get in there. And then, yeah, Lost Belt 6 soon. We'll have to see what kind of crazy chaos we get to. And then, now we've just got some anime-ass news.
Yep.
We did get a little scooped on this, technically.
Yes.
Because, we did actually live in the show last week talk about the poster that got posted for the Grand Temple of Time Solomon. But then there was, like, actually a CM and all kinds of details that came out from that we didn't get to in the show. So, it is a movie. It is a confirmed movie film. Will be in theaters July 30th, which is actually quite soon. Mm-hmm. Though that makes sense because I'm fairly certain Cloverworks is still on it.
Yeah, no, that's still the Cloverworks style.
Yeah, I thought.
And so. I do believe they put Cloverworks in the final in the credits page there. So yes.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's that makes sense. They haven't been doing anything in the Fate Project verse since Babylonia ended. So yeah, that'll come out. Hopefully. I mean, we had a strong streaming presence with the original Babylonia anime through Funimation, but this is a movie, so
yeah, no. If this is a theatrical place, they're probably counting on ticket sales for profits. So
yeah, they're probably gonna. I mean, and in the stateside, I'm gonna guess because Japan just had a round of theater closures for like a couple of weeks, and other business closures for a couple of weeks. I'm going to guess that our various vaccine levels are probably getting a little bit better than Japan over here. I know we're not perfect, but we are starting to get ahead of ourselves. So hopefully by well, actually, it wouldn't even be late July, would it? It would be, we probably wouldn't get it until at least a couple months later, even subbed. But yeah, hopefully by the time they're ready to roll it out in theaters, everybody should have an opportunity to be vaccinated and stuff. But yeah, that's definitely kind of an 3 months. So yeah, that would be, let's see, it's July. So yeah, that would be like a late fall release, October, November. Could be possible. We'll have to see what happens. I hope that even though obviously these are being run through Japanese businesses into American businesses who license them, I hope we are not going to mislearn lessons from this whole pandemic thing and backslide on like streaming and other availabilities. Please, people. We worked so hard to get this infrastructure set up for like literally a year. Don't throw it away. So I'm hoping that maybe we get a decently fast streaming pipeline on this, but yeah, I would expect probably a theatrical premiere.
I'm thinking about it because I'm pretty sure this is the same like team and same dev team that did Babylonia. And like I said, we got simultaneous on Babylonia, and they did lead into a tease. I'm sure they're eager to do that pull up. And like I said, they've got all the services they need to release this. Like I said, if they did digital ticket sales for streaming events,
they could do that. They could do streaming tickets.
Because like I said, they mentioned a theatrical release, but they might also do a digital streaming service too as well, so you can watch it physically or whatever through whatever streaming service they provide.
I wouldn't mind that a little. I mean, I think some deluxe movie streams are a little expensive, but if it's not too unreasonable, we could pull it off. We could have a little Discord watch party. Everybody key in now. Start the film.
Oh, actually. Speaking of which, once Lucky actually gets his physical copy of Heaven's Feel 3, he's totally throwing a Heaven's Feel watch party.
We didn't mention that yet, but yes, no. We're going to have a private screening that will not be monetized for the house of our Discord.
Yeah, and Lucky was actually looking into it. It was like, can you get away with that on YouTube? And it was like, nope, even if it's private, unmonetized, and hidden from the world, they will still get you. I was like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, we would at the very least be copyright blocked. I know you can, this is how, certain Hololive stuff gets away with certain karaoke bits, is they unarchive it. But no, if it was still saved on our channel, YouTube's copyright gremlins could be like, hey, what's up?
Well, like I said, I probably wouldn't want to archive it anyway.
Well, no, God, no, because that's asking for trouble.
Well, no, I don't want to record a commentary because I don't want to talk over the movie.
No, that's a later feature. No. Get me to 5,000 subs, Riff Tracks Heavens... No, not unless you guys really want that. Though I did 1 year record a standalone commentary for Die Hard for Christmas. Check that out on our channel. If that gets a shitload of views, maybe that'll be more popular. Anyway, but yeah, so we'll get in there. Also, somebody from chat did raise a good point. The Demon Slayer movie did really well over here as well, so hopefully we get our action on the FGO animes and streams and stuff and the movies really fast. But we still don't have any news about Camelot. That I think how they handle Camelot's release, because I don't think they've said anything about how they're doing that over here, that's going to say a lot about what our future for these couple of projects is going to be like. But so also, you put this note in here, but I do agree with it. As is the usual now for all these animes, there's a new Mystic Code you get in it, which gives you a super swole arm and some Dead Space-ass glowy spine. Presumably this is so that the master could pull off punching Gatia on camera without looking like an idiot. But hey, new Mystic Codes, that's cool.
Yeah. No, like I said, that's that whole scene is one of the big things I've been wondering how they're gonna actually handle.
Oh yeah, no, and by the way, again, the CM, chef's kiss, great, brilliant stuff.
Oh god, so good.
At least in the CM, the CG on the Demon Pillars is a little obvious, but they are really freaky. I actually am not sure that the CG is rendered 100% accurate to what they're supposed to look like, but that may be a scale thing. In case you guys forgot from the art books, Demon Pillars are actually supposed to be made of, like, a bajillion screaming skeleton people forming a giant pillar up to the heavens, which is probably very hard to detail render.
Yeah, no, that'd probably take way more juice and way more time that they're willing to spend.
Yeah, but yes, no, but they did the perfect thing. The screen goes black. Jean starts the speech. She twirls. They showed us. We talked about this on the trailers. They showed parties from every major singularity. So we will have a decently representative cast that shows up. We will do stuff. I have seen no indication of the event pillar with those event characters, but I mean, you've already got Nobunaga in doing the male master. There's no reason why you couldn't get him to cameo for 5 seconds as Dante's, right? just a little kuhaha. But we'll see, you know. And we debated a long time when they announced this how they would do this format, and while I think they could have done it as a core or especially as a short form OVA series, at least if they give it like the full 2 hours, a movie will be fine.
Oh, yeah,
it'll be perfectly sufficient.
It just means that
get some action montages in there. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and like I said, it just means they're probably not focusing on each individual pillar for a long amount of time. So.
No, I mean they should hope to pay the lip service. They got to include Barbatos. Come on, guys, you got to drop the name. No, it doesn't need to be 4 hours long and in 6 parts. But no, they can do it in. I want them to do the full 2 hours. But yeah, no, they can accomplish it.
Like I said, the movie, as I said, to see him, I've watched it several times. It got me hype. I'm excited.
It's good work.
So we will see, and I'll take this little last one because it's a little nothing something, but I feel like it was fair to mention it. Over in JP, currently the JP version, when you open up the game, they have a little new opening thing where they play a 15-minute preview of the second Camelot movie with some choice scenes in it. I'll say. Must be a promotion so they can maintain interest in the film in these trying times.
Yeah, because their movie premiere was delayed a couple of weeks, which means obviously that if it was gonna come out and it's been delayed by 2 weeks, the movie is fucking ready. So they've got all the clips to show. We've also somebody mentioned this in Patreon chat as well. People have been saying that it sounds like for the second part of the movie they did actually go plenty over the top for animation.
Yeah, no, that's what I've heard. I heard some people saying, I think it was Keita Sean actually, who said that this 15 minutes of animation is like 1,000 times better than the entire first movie. And it's like, wow.
Also, while we do not condone piracy, I don't know if we mentioned this last week, but for a while anyway, the entire first movie with soft subs was well, actually it's hard sub because it's on YouTube, but you know what I mean. The externally fan subbed was put on YouTube for at least like a week, if not still there.
Really? Wow.
I mean, so this is the funny thing. If whoever would be responsible for that, you know, whether it's Delightworks, Sony, Production IG themselves, if whoever's not responsible for that doesn't upload their content and mark it with Content ID, you don't get flagged unless you get manually reported. Like, that's how the Content ID system works. That's how come we only get blasted by weird stuff on our FGO streams when FGO marketing is going to upload an NP video. And they're like, hold on, this is similar to a thing we're going to show off. And we're like, it's really not, thanks. And then they usually let it go after their thing comes out. But yeah, so some enterprising soul has already hoisted the colors. Well, they hoisted the colors for you. They just smuggled in a Blu-ray, I guess. But yeah, we'll see how long that lasts and how long that person is alive before the Sony copyright ninjas get to them. But yeah, it's cool. It's good. I know some people said that the animation of the first film and some of the previews and stuff looked kind of average. Like, not really bad, but not really flashy either.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it sounds like they spent their time and money wisely and put it into the climax. Because there would definitely be a lot of really important scenes you have to do well in the second half of that story. All right, that's all our news items. That took us about a half hour. It's time for
Mailbag. How long we want to go? We didn't actually talk about this.
Yeah, I don't know. How many questions you got? 28? I mean, we may or may not have a back half. We haven't decided. Maybe we should just jump into the mailbag and see what happens. We've only been recording for 30 minutes.
All right, let's just play it by ear. So let Lucky sit up and hit everything on his desk.
I tapped my headphones, but I don't know if that's coming across in my actual recorded microphone.
Lucky was in full lounge mode, and now he has to get into upright mode. So, with that, though, we are in everyone's... I shouldn't say favorite. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you people like. I don't know you. Who are you people?
What segments do you like?
But a well-received segment, I will say. That's right, it's time for Let's Talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we read what you send in and respond accordingly, usually with a bit of class and a whole lot of sass. We got... Let me see here. It says I got 29, so I probably refreshed it earlier, or later than you did. And we're going to play it by ear. We'll just see how long. We'll just see how long we can go before Lucky just says, I'm done with this, and just yeets the rest. But no time like the present, so we get started right meow. And this first one comes from 418. It says, "Hello, Lucky and Omega. Hope you have a great weekend." I hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to try and have a decent weekend myself here. My scooter broke down again, but I got fixed today, so I'm going to go make sure that's all good and stuff. We have actually pretty good weather. Like, right about now is the weather that I really, really like. Where it's sunny, but it's not hot, and there's usually a fine breeze at all times. So blue skies, yellow sun, fine breeze. I'm like, yes, this is the perfect time. Give me my 2 months, I'm going to be like, I'm not going outside, fuck you, I'll kill you.
That's all the time in Florida.
Yeah, that's why I don't go to Florida.
You want me to go outside? I'll fight you.
Oh, thank you very much. We shall move on. This next one comes from Gahulian God. So, they say, have an idea and a question. I'm concerned already. Idea. If we ever got a Case Files rerun, forget if that has happened yet. It has not, by the way. Or a spiritual successor for Case File, Bonsi... Wait. We have a lack of punctuation here.
Yeah,
it is confused Lucky.
Put a period or a comma there, sir or madam.
Let's see here. So, hang on. Idea. If we ever get a Case Files rerun, forget if that has happened yet, or a spiritual successor to Case Files, Bond CE should be a minor bonus CE, similar to how Valentine CEs act during Valentine's events.
Interesting thought. Definitely needed a comma there.
Yeah, interesting thought, but also, I don't know. I'm actually gonna tackle this one before we go into the second half. That's a fine idea, but you gotta remember, Valentine CEs are accessible to everyone as long as you have the survey, as long as you put in a little bit of work. Bond CEs, you have to work a lot, and it takes a fuck lot amount of time, so a lot of people, even if they've been playing a lot, don't have many of them. I think I have, 4? Yeah, because I
only got, 3, I think. Yeah.
And before people get, up in arms about that, a lot of people usually don't, spread their systems out to go gather, Bond CEs. They usually they usually have Bond CEs because they have a strategy and they fucking stick to it, through,
because it requires a lot of Bond EXP.
Yeah. So while there's definitely a neat idea, I don't think it's necessarily viable because that means some people will definitely have more than others, and it will make the mechanics unbalanced.
I think it would work if the bonus was very minor conditional. Like how when we did the original Solomon, you got a proportional damage bonus based on how high your bond was, right? With bond 10 being the most damage. And it scaled up, obviously. But also something like if your bond CEs gave you a little bonus, but it was not as good as, say, a store CE or a banner CE, which also does mean I don't think this would work for the way the original Case Files is structured. That's unless it was each bond CE was a 5% rare enemy spawn or something. I don't think it works. Because as you said, there's a point in the fact that Valentine CEs with reruns and etceteras, they are accessible to everyone who's played previous. Obviously, if you're newer, you may have missed out on some of those, or if you got a lot of serve since then, so you still have to do your work for them. But hypothetically, if you were playing when a previous event happened, you have your backlog.
Yeah.
Whereas with bonds, there's not really a good chance to get any. People do have bond farming setups. That's usually very adjacent and involves a very specific setup, like, say, the Barbatos raids.
I mean, my bond farming is when I'm going to go punch hands.
Yeah, no, but usually I do that to farm all the way to Bond 5, and then I stop, because I have a lot of servants who are Bond 0 that I want to rotate through. Though that is how I've gotten 2 out of my 3 max bonds. Actually, no, 3 out of 4, that's right, I do have 4. Because one of them is Arash, one of them is Wayer, one of them is Lancelot, and one of them is John. This should shock nobody, by the way. That's my 3-turn farming setup, and my first ever SSR, who carried my ass through that first half. I am not shy to say there was a lot of regular John action in the early days of FGO.
No, actually,
Fran is very close because she's also in my 3-turn setup.
I believe I'm at 5 because I got Waver, Tamamo, and then Kiyohime, Tamamo, and Tamakat.
I have quite a few Bond 9s, honestly, but it's much more likely that Fran's going to hit it next because she's literally in my 3-turn farming setup. But I got a Bond 9 Mordred. My Jalter is Bond 8 or 9. Medusa's Bond 9. Hit Bond 9 over the Case Files event, actually. Fun times. Anyway, this person has a question as well.
They have a question. They say, now that we have seen Match hang out with Tristan with 1-1 activities, Well, excuse me. What one-on-one activities do you think MASH would have with other Knights of the Round? The various Arturias, Author, and Merlin included. Honestly, I don't think MASH actually does a lot of hanging out, personally.
No,
Like-
I mean, there's some back and forth with Mordred in a few eventos, but that's because London basically built that relationship, where Mordred played the surly senpai role, I would say.
Mhm.
Delinquent senpai. Meihousou is arguably a comedy event. I mean, it's an improv movie, so that's to be expected. So, I don't actually know if she hung out with Tristan on a regular basis, what that would be like most of the time.
No, like, Region Raptor puts out, like, MASH works too diligently for hanging out. She's also kind of a bookworm and a shy and timid girl.
Which probably
Like,
works best with Tristan
mm,
Kanashi. He's just sitting there with his eyes closed, with his AirPods in.
I mean,
And we all know that MASH actively avoids hanging out with Lancelot, because it's funnier that way. Yeah.
I don't know, like honestly, best it probably speaks most probably to maybe Tristan and maybe Bedivere.
Yeah,
I feel
Bedivere,
like-
there's also a bond established. We did a lot of hanging out with Bedivere in Camelot.
Mhm.
So, hopefully maybe Lost Belt 6 takes care of this, but we haven't actually seen Gareth on screen a lot.
Oh, that's true.
I would guess she's probably okay to hang out, especially because MASH representing Galahad's role is one of the younger knights as well, so it's probably fine. Gareth is very famous for gal pals. Her friend, the princess of what's and such, that she dueled many dudes over. The magic ring. They're just friends, guys. The unintentional writing things that happen when you gender swap stuff.
Great.
Or otherwise adjust the rating. They're just cousins, guys. Just cousins.
Just cousins. Honestly, that hasn't stopped a lot of medieval romance. Whatever. Whatever.
Stuff, a lot of things, yeah.
And Merlin? Listen, no one hangs out with Merlin. No one.
We've got a question about Merlin later that I think we may or may not get to, but hanging out with Merlin is not your general state of Merlin. Like, he likes to fuck with other people. Like, you go see Merlin when you have a problem, because he's alone in his, faux otaku-flavored room practicing with his faux ears or something in front of the mirror. Or he's practicing his VTube rig so he can be Majimari. You don't just hang out with him. He shows up to you because something's going on. Okay.
Well, that is that. Thank you very much. We move on. This next one comes from Tomo Nessus, a lunatic satyr cleric of Twilight. You been getting into them D&D drugs, my dude?
I think...
Hi, my not game... Oh, they totally have been. Hi, my not game masters. I hope you've had a great day or evening. My question. What servant... Why is there an apostrophe in servants?
I believe it's supposed to be possessive, but they have missed. Missed.
Oh. They took their shot, but they missed. Go get a popsicle.
I threw it on the floor.
What servants design do you like the most? Specifically in terms of clothing.
There's a lot of unnecessary capitals in this question as well.
Until next time. Oh, clothing. That is a... Honestly, I do think this is a fair question, but honestly, I'm trying to think here.
There's almost 300 servants. It's hard. I got a lot of designs I really like. A lot of people were gushing about Mordred in suits the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good look.
Hey, kid, you want to... I'm glad someone was able to find.
Yeah, it's a really good one. That's especially very funny considering now that I've watched some Critical Role. I'm not even sure if that's the direction it would go. Taliesin Jeffy is definitely a guy who hustles D&D from a white van. But he's a goth, so he's an old school goth kid. Access, how long the show has been going? 45 minutes? 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
With a huge long pre-show that you missed. I answered a YouTube survey. Anyway, clothing designs, yeah, I don't know, it's really hard. Like, there's a lot of really classic stuff.
Like, I'm horny on main, so I do really like Skahawk's and Raiko's designs. I mean, full bodysuits are great, but again,
the
I'm
whole
horny on
being
main.
naked without being naked thing is a powerful trope, yes.
Yes, it's powerful.
But no, there's a lot of really good high-end designs. There's a lot of really good color palettes. Like, you can just say this is just horny on main, but a lot of the swimsuit designs are actually quite impressive with how they, like, coordinate everything and keep the characters... usually when you switch to a swimsuit, you're reducing the amount of cloth there is, but somehow they really still speak to the characters' designs.
Oh, yeah, usually because they maintain their color themes and...
color themes and design elements. Like,
yeah.
Summer Maeve has a little bit of that extra frill.
But it's like white and pink.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
all the elements. She keeps her... Not her crown per se in all Ascensions, but usually she has something on her head, so she keeps that kind of like outline of her head.
Mm.
Yes, it's true. Technically, Summer Ushi puts on more clothes, but even then, her color palette stays appropriately the same. It's really good. Good work, everybody. Also, in terms of like being naked without being naked, Ushi's got a powerful default design. Fucking spirit gum, spirit gum and double-sided tape, guys. Holds costumes together. Yeah, no, I don't. But like I said, with like 300 units, it's very hard to pick out. Like, I'm a sucker for bright red, so like, Caesar's coat's pretty cool.
I actually really like Raita designs are always top percent, but I also really do like his Moriarty design. It is so detailed.
Well, yeah, Raita, a lot of people give Raita shit for his stylization, and I think that's fallen off over the years as people have just accepted that that's his style.
Yeah.
But like, he is the man's a lunatic. Like, every one of his designs is stylized, but also very detail oriented. Like, look at Kintoki. Like, he's got, not only does he have all the muscle definition in the chest, he does the little details of like any Ascensions of like increasing the slight redness in his hands. Because in case you didn't know, that's the form of Kintoki's madness enhancement. He turns red, literally. The gold belt buckle, all that little stuff.
Yeah,
like, it's a very intense stuff. Somebody threw this out earlier. I think Aresh also has a lot of very fun, interesting designs. They went a little crazier with her than they did with Ishtar, like with her different dresses and stuff. Very, very cool stuff.
Yeah, no, like, so yeah, my answer is generally, I would say Raita, because Moriarty, Murasaki, Raiko, Shuten. Shuten's so interesting. It's like, it's so minimalist, but there's still so much going on.
Yeah, very detail-oriented, and especially because she's still got the kimono over it as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, guys, my favorite piece of clothing is Python. Anyway, let's move on.
We move on. So thank you. We move on. This next one comes from Zed, just Zed, who says, just testing something with my comment and question this week. Hope you two are feeling well. Feeling aight. So the only two Arturia classes left are Alter Ego and Avenger. So of the two, which would you want first of the two? And follow-up question, what goofy gimmick would you like to give to the Alter Ego and Avenger Artorias? Well, if I was gonna have...
So clearly Alter Ego Artoria is Britannia, goddess of Britain. And she just is all Britain all the time.
I was gonna say, make it a Summer Lancer, Alter Lancer. Make her, I don't know.
Oh, that's an excellent gift. Thank you, sir. I shall add that to my collection, yes.
For Avenger, though, give me, Castor Artoria Alter.
Yeah, something like that. Also, to be fair, even though we have we do already have an assassin Artoria, but she doesn't even do any of the assassin things that you could do with King Arthur. That's sad.
Oh, yeah, well, that's the thing I've always said about MXZ. Like, MXX is a, Artoria, but she's a space Artoria. She's not a King of Britain Artoria.
She's a saber face.
So, like, give Artoria the dagger. Give her dogs.
Also, no, they didn't miss a chance to make Arthur an alter ego. He's a saber. He's been a saber longer than Saber's been a saber.
So, but gimmicks, I don't fucking know. Listen, I can't come up with gimmicks.
I don't care.
But with that, I guess we shall move on. So thank you very much. The next one comes from the Dragon King. I could have said from the Dragon King, but nah, that's repetitive.
We don't have a redundancy department.
They say, can you engrave runes on weapons in Fate, or can they only be done on the air or on the ground? Listen, runes are bullshit. Runes can do whatever.
I'm fairly certain, because the rune is just an external magic circuit. I'm pretty sure you can build it into things. And that's probably how you make Mystic Codes. Because Mystic Codes are also bullshit.
I'm not going to be surprised if they put runes on gemstones and then shoot them at people.
Which would technically be a Mystic Code. Also, I would want to throw out there, and it's not a weapon, but when Ku actually uses runes in Unlimited Blade Works, he pulls out his little rune stones and they do stuff.
Yeah.
So they're already in a thing. So yes, you can put runes on your thing, so your thing can do your rune thing while it does your other thing.
Did I say runes are bullshit? Just reminding you all. Anyway, move on! Thank you! This next one comes from Heptagons, the 9-sided shapes we always needed.
Did
we?
Do we really?
I'm usually fine after 8, but eh.
I mean, there's no 9-sided dice. It's clearly bullshit. It's fake news.
Fake news. Put that shit back on Twitter. Question, dear Lucky Omega. In a typical Holy Grail War, is the Master allowed to mulligan / reroll for another servant?
No.
P.S. P.S. Is there actually a difference between mulligan and reroll? Technically, yes.
What's the etymology? I'm gonna look up the etymology of mulligan real quick.
Well, I know this because I don't know why I know this, but I know this. A mulligan is basically a term for for informal golf. You can't do this in proper golf because it's against the rules, but in informal golf, you can take a mulligan if you basically take a shot and you basically lose your fucking ball. And it's not counted against your stroke.
Nobody knows what the actual origin of using the term is. You're correct, and that's the original use in golf. Yeah, and yes, the mulligan rule has been expanded to lots of other things. You may or may not recognize it from Magic the Gathering has a mulligan rule, as does Pokemon. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the only one of the big three trading card games that doesn't have a mulligan rule. If you have a bad hand, it's called having a brick. Ask Loth about them sometime. Hey, Lucky, if you ever need Loth to freak out and kill a boss, just ask him about bricks in the middle of your Final Fantasy.
But, so, in the context of mulligan re-rolling, a reroll... So let me first off, you cannot reroll for another servant. You have signed the fucking contract. That's what they're bound to the seals.
Yes. As I mentioned, I think I briefly said in the side while Lucky was reading the question. No, you don't get a mulligan. There's no mulligan rule in Fate.
No, there's not. But a lot of people will just reroll until they get what they want. Usually you can only mulligan once just for, to make up for a bad thing you did.
Yeah, rerolling... I assume re-rolling in this context of people using it as like, oh, I'm going to try again, probably comes from D&D, actually, because back in the day, method 1, how you're supposed to do a character design, is you roll 3d6 down the line. So, when you roll 3d6s, which I could do right now, I could do it for you, because I have dice near me always. I am the Dice Lord. But hypothetically, you could roll 3d6, and let's see, I've just rolled 5, 4, 9. My strength is now 9. That's it. So if you get to the bottom of your list and you're like, this stat line sucks, you roll them all again. Most people who play D&D definitely modify that a little bit. They either let you pick an array or they usually do 4d6 drop the lowest and you can assign them to whatever. But yeah, no. Which I assume is where the concept of like re-rolling gacha accounts comes from. Is like, oh, well, we'll just re-roll those numbers, and you do that as many times even though the game doesn't really want you to.
Yeah.
You have to go through some rigmarole.
So, yeah, no, so... If you were to mulligan for, in like a gacha game, you get a roll, and he's like, oh, I didn't like this roll. You do it one more time, you'd be like, okay, this is what I got.
Yeah.
But that's enough on that. We're going to move on. So thank you very much. This next one comes from Secret Casino King Bum Bum, who says, sending more weekly well wishes. I love alliteration. Thank you. I hope you have a good weekend as well. We move on. This next one comes from the one who is frustrated at tying phone numbers to email accounts. Very well done. They say, question, just checking, because everyone seems to enjoy hating on Merlin.
Full stop.
That's not a question. But that's just because he enjoys messing around with Desert Thing, right? And not because he's harmful to others. Last checked, he's still lawful good, and Saber does still trust him.
None of these are questions, by the way. These all end in periods.
What is this? So
use a question mark where your actual question is, bro.
Yeah, where's your question?
Interpolating a little, yes, the reason why people sass on Merlin is why people sass on Sherlock. It's because while Merlin's not a bad guy, he is often annoying to be around and has annoying habits, and Merlin especially is very trolly. And that's an intrinsic part of the Merlin lore. Merlin's always been, he doesn't have a huge beard in this, but Merlin's always been a weird, shifty old guy. It comes from possibly being a potential antichrist or something.
Also, I would not put too much stock in the fact that he's lawful good or Artoria trusts him. Honestly, like I said, alignments are bullshit.
It's true. Alignments are weird. Remember that Aresh is chaotic evil.
Mm-hmm. Remember that Gilgamesh is chaotic good.
We always remember that one. That's our go-to of, wow, alignments don't work.
And like I said, if we're going to talk about Artoria,
what is chaotic
remember...
bride?
And if we're going to talk about Artoria, remember, this fucking old creepy old man strolled up to this 14-year-old girl, gave her a sword, and said, let's go on fucking adventures. And she was like, okay. So maybe, I don't know, Merlin maybe got around some of her formative years on how shit gets done.
It's a little more nuanced and noble than that, but yes. There was a thing with a sword and a rock, and he was like, hey, yo, you're the true king of England. If you pull out this sword, you're going to be a really cool king, but it'll probably suck for you. And Artoria was like,
and I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Artoria didn't necessarily have a nice family situation before that.
She was fostered with some guys who, I don't think her foster family was, other than Sir Kay, who was an alright dude by all accounts, though sometimes a little bit of an asshole. Yeah, they were just randos who were probably not having a good time because they fostered Uther Pendragon's lost daughter, which probably did not make them off very well with the current regime.
So, yeah.
But no. But yes, no. Just because people listen, just because you can trust Merlin doesn't mean you have to like Merlin.
No. So, with that though, yeah, there's no actual question here, so I don't think there's anything else to discuss. Let's move on.
Remember your punctuation, kids.
Oh, so thank you very much. We move on. This next one comes from Sencho is Love, Sencho is Life. They say, ahoy, looking back, what is a niche that you had underfilled in your roster? For example, I've been playing for 3 years and Nobu is still my only gold AoE archer. Wow. Hope you're both well. Cheers. You haven't gotten an Atalante yet? I'm a little surprised, but I guess that's fair. Honestly, I roll way too much and have too many servants to actually know if I'm actually missing a niche.
I'm pretty sure you're not missing any niches. For me, 5-star Berserkers was like criminally underrepresented until I got 2 in a single banner. I think about a year ago. Yeah, the niche known as leveled servants.
Yes, that.
I also until about a year ago, I didn't have any 5-star SSR single target sabers. But then I got Sigurd, and I also got Bride on a GSSR actually. I think earlier this year as well. So like most of my roster's filled out with a couple of choices for everything. I think the only thing I'm maybe not crazy about is, not that there are an excess of them, but I do not have an excess of AoE alter egos. I have most Avengers, though. I think I'm missing a couple of the... Yeah, I'm missing some of the 5-star limited rulers, I guess. But every ruler is unique. Every ruler is a unique and beautiful snowflake, so yeah.
Ready.
It would mostly be extra class shit. And the stuff the stuff I thought I'd miss is the stuff I'm not missing. Like, I've got all the foreigners so far. We'll see if the streak continues.
Mm-hmm.
Team Tentacle?
Team Tentacle! I'm excited for Yang Guifei. No! No. We're gonna move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Dave, Lorv, and Salvatore. They say, last week when I said I didn't know what Da Vinci was, I meant more her physical body. Do we know if her backup... Is that supposed to be now? I'm not actually gonna throw shit at you because I constantly look at no. I'm just all like, wait a minute. Do we now know if her backup body is a noble phantasm or possibly something grown?
Well, I mean,
it's probably not.
Phantasm.
It's not a noble phantasm. No.
I think at best it's probably some sort of construct, probably homunculus based, but it was a spirit body that contained other juice. It was either in one of her interludes or in the actual Da Vinci and the Counterfeit Spirits event. They mentioned that OG Da Vinci actually has a model of her original self as a puppet, as a construct who acts as her quote-unquote master. It's part of why she's semi-independent in Chaldea, because she's not really bonded to anything. So, I assume that's what Da Vinci Small is it's a custom-designed construct. Yeah,
Probably.
I would wager that Da Vinci's probably not as good as Toko's puppets, because that's Toko's special thing, is she built puppets so lifelike that you don't realize whether or not you've actually gotten Toko, and neither does she. Am I the original? Am I a new one?
Oh.
I don't fucking know. I don't care. Obviously because Da Vinci wasn't handed a sealing designation by the Mage Association. Which is, I do believe that's what Cornelius canonically says when he finds out about Toko's puppetry. It's like, holy shit, you should be in mage jail. What the fuck? And then he gets eaten by a horrible suitcase monster.
Yeah, that's why you're not supposed to kill her.
That's what you get for being a bitch. Yeah, I think we've adequately answered that one.
Yes, then we shall move on. Thank you very much. This one goes to the guy who made it to summer. They say, hey guys, hope everything's going okay. Short question, but what makes you decide to quit a gacha game? For me, it's either one of two things. I will sum it up as stuff. Either too much or too little. And that could mean a variety of things. For example, it takes up too much time, costs me too much money. There's absolutely too much to do. Or conversely, too little. There's too little to do. I have too little time to play it.
Yeah, I think Lucky's hit it. It's he came up with a way pithier way of phrasing it than I would have, but no, it's that. It's either the game requires too much money, energy, whatever to get into, or I don't have enough time or enough interest. This game's not generating enough interest for me to play it. Like I can say this, much like Girls Frontline, I think I've soft quit Azure Lane. It's still installed on my computer. I could probably jump back in, but I haven't opened it in like a month, and I don't really feel like I'm missing anything. I'm still intermittently with Arknights. We may talk about that on What's Up. But yeah, it's for the games we quit, like Girls Frontline, that was just like, that needed way too much brain space to play properly, and it just wasn't worth it. You know? Kind of the same with Genshin. Like, Genshin was cool, and I liked doing it, but it really wanted you to, like, put in a decent amount of time every day.
Yeah.
And I was like, this game's cool, but I should say, I don't think either of us felt rewarded for playing Genshin as much as it wanted us to play.
No, definitely not. Like, well, probably now there's probably a lot more. I mean, they've gone through a few patches and things like that. They've added stuff that has really caught my interest, but I'm just like, still don't have time. Still don't have time.
Yeah, I think Vesper got sucked back into Genshin after, like, not playing it since it came out for...
Like I said, like, my fucking current obsession right now is Final Fantasy, and guess what? I only have to pay, like, $20 a month, and I don't have to roll for any fucking characters, and I can do...
Yeah, you can just... Lucky, you just buy the new expansion and you get the new characters, quote-unquote.
Yeah. So...
It's almost like there are merits and deficits to different models of monetizing your games, and not all games should be made the same.
Yeah. But no, like right now, like I'm pretty happy. Like I said, like the games I'm playing right now, I still, if I'm gonna scale them from like the most to least, I play FGO the most, then Destiny Child. Like I still play that. Like surprisingly, like people, because I know like almost no one else plays it in our groups. I still play Destiny Child on a fair amount because, as I said, whether or not it's too much or too little, Destiny Child doesn't matter because I can literally just auto everything and not actually have to pay attention
Destiny's
to it.
Child seems to be a game that is mechanically built with the understand. Like, they're not like what some gacha games do. Like, I think this was Girls Frontline's problem, and some other gacha games, like even Genshin had this a little bit, where it's like, oh, we need to put the players' eyeballs on our game and make them care about this, so we need to try and suck you in and take up more of your time. From what you said about the way Destiny Child is built, it's like, no, that's not how this works, bruh. Our niche is that you play this game while you do other stuff. Are you at work? We're playing the game for you. Are you asleep? We'll play the game for you too. You in the shower? We'll get a couple runs in. Like, Destiny's Child seems programmed and built to handle itself doing all the repetitive mechanical shit while you're doing something else. So you feel like you're not spending huge amounts of hours in the game, even though technically you probably have a lot of hours logged in that game.
Oh yeah. And I will say for Azure Lane, actually Azure Lane has been putting in a lot more tools for autoplay. Like, you can now, like, quick battle your fucking dailies. You can actually run, as long as you have 3 stars, you can auto maps now. So it's like, they're getting up there, but still a matter of,
that's pretty
resources.
Cool, and I'm glad for that.
Yeah.
That seems nice. That would probably be more like pulling me back in, because that's something that, like, with Arknights is very easy to log into, because it has very robust auto tools.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, here, game, don't worry. I'm here for you. I love your story. I like your characters, but Jesus fucking Christ, I don't want to be pushing buttons every 3 seconds.
Especially if it's on my... I think, honestly, a lot of it is arguably outdated game design aspects. A lot of these gacha games were designed for phones with the idea that you would be, like, on a commute, you would be out and about, and then we got quarantined for a year, and nobody does that anymore. And it's just... But, yeah, no, that seems like a cool... By the way, the reason why I'm logging back into Arknights is because there's a fucking, Cliffheart skin in there. Skins.
Skins.
I know what I'm about. Also, I mean, I can actually say right now, they also had a 99-cent deal for Pure Stream that was for charity, for animals. So I'm like, I'll pay 99 cents for an operator that goes to charity. What am I, some kind of schmuck who hates the Earth?
Fuck you, Earth, kick ground.
Well, okay. It's funny you say that. I think it was a couple weeks ago, but that was something my character in D&D did do. We were in Haunted Woods, but I have tried to fight the ground a couple of times and throw holy water on it. And occasionally the ground has responded angrily, so...
Noted.
I have fought the Earth before, yes. Alright, well, let's keep going.
Let's keep going. So yes, I hope everyone is mildly drunk from all that other gacha game talk we did. But
yeah, you had to take several hits there.
Yeah, I did. But we move on. So thank you very much. The next one comes from Rest in Peace, Kentaro Miura. Ah, yes. The man, the legend, the deceased. But they say, is Fate or Nosferatu in general a hard or soft magic system to you? What do you think? Well, first off, someone needs to explain what a hard or soft magic system is. Mike, you got anything?
All right, so in general, talking about hard or soft systems, and as a general concept, Fate traditionally has worked, and Nasuverse has worked very strongly on a functional magic system. We've discussed Magecraft several times.
Yes.
It really wants to be a hard system. Magic A is Magic A, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But fundamentally, I think while it is a functional magic system that has rules, most of those rules are bullshit, like everything else in the Nasuverse, so it's actually a very soft magical system. You can do most things you want to with magic and just kind of go, like specifically Magecraft, if you're talking about Magecraft, like that magical system, that's definitely harder, because there are hard and fast limits on what Magecraft can do and how it works and whatnot. But even then, they still come up with new nonsense all the time.
And definitely once you start getting into old magics and magic and, stuff like that, I think it's just bullshit. It's all like, I do spells. Stuff happens.
And we joked about this earlier, but Mystic Codes are very bullshit. There's no really good definition of those things. It's just, this is an item, it's magic, it does stuff. How or why? It's magic. Shut up.
It's divine, yo. You know how the divine works? Neither do we. Bye.
This Mystic Code is a noble phantasm, but also still a Mystic Code. Cool. Thanks.
Like I said, we're operating on the rule of cool here. That's fine. But enough about that. We shall move on. This next one comes from Hollywood award-winning director Cyrus21, who says, "Hello, my friends. Hello, my fellow directors at Chaldea. The question this week is related to this event that just happened. Namely, do you guys think a full singularity or pseudo-lost belt would work if focused on Hollywood history? Especially since considering how Edison was banned from the mini-singularity and that Hollywood itself was made to get away from his lawyers, imagine the damage he could do in the city of dreams, Hollywood. What do you guys think? Could a story about Hollywood and servants standing in as actors work? Anyways, good luck and may gotcha smile upon you." Well, no smiling on me. I ain't rolling for shit right now.
Could it work? Yes. Will it work? No.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust that our Japanese-ass Japan writers know a lot about Hollywood history or care. Not to say that, obviously, like we said, there's a whole research team at Type Moon and Delightworks, obviously, doing these things. But
like I said, I would give them a fair shot. I mean, like, our summer coming up is literally based off their fucking research trip to Vegas.
True. But that said, there's also the care factor, right? Vegas is big enough, and also I'm gonna guess it's gonna be fucking weird anyway, because it's the summer event. So, it'll be that. And while certainly Hollywood, like, as a concept, is a big touchstone, and actually I suppose being in LA, it's fairly close enough that a decent number of Japanese tourists can go there, or could, before the dark times.
Like, honestly...
COVID. But I don't know if there would be enough interest from the writers and the audience to actually do it.
Like, honestly, I don't think, it would have to be a singularity. It would be a singularity. It wouldn't be a pseudo-lost belt. Like, there's no point in fucking Hollywood's history where a certain church would, like, switch us and turn us into some weird fucking, like, alt history. There's just not. Hollywood's not that fucking
Hollywood
important, y'all.
Eats the president, becomes the president.
No, but, like, funny you say City of Dreams. Like, I could see something based around the concept of a City of Dreams and then, like, smash, like, Hollywood, like, aspects into that. But I would also see, like, other aspects, like, theater and, music and stuff. Like,
Well, and certainly if you themed it around Hollywood or Hollywoodland, you could, do that old joke.
Mm-hmm.
In case you didn't know, there used to be 4 extra letters on the sign, guys. But that certainly could be, like, a theme, because that's a major entertainment hub.
Yeah.
So,
like,
that was certainly...
Yeah, do you ever remember America where we had fucking Nero in fucking Broadway and Liz in Hollywood, or was it the other way around?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
You want me to remember the sequence of events in America? We met Nightingale, we met Rama, Nightingale carries Rama, we got very annoyed at Edison, and then we walked a lot, and then we punched Maeve, and Ku became a pillar at the end.
No, we punched Maeve at the White House.
That's right, we punched Maeve at the White House, specifically. Ku became a pillar, the end. There was a lot of walking in the middle. It's like if you edit out the plot beats of Lord of the Rings. Well, if you leave all the transitional scenes, it's actually quite short. Why did this take 20 million hours? But no, certainly, again, like I said earlier, we could do something like this. I don't know if we would. I think Lucky's idea of, like, definitely blend, much like the Meihousou singularity, which we will talk about, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
After all this, kind of blending the reality and fiction and stuff would definitely work. Again, I don't know if we'd center a whole event on it. I certainly wouldn't mind giving them another crack to be more accurate to America. Even to American stereotypes, because the American singularity is just weird.
Oh. But we shall leave it at that and move on, so thank you very much. This next one comes from Suna, making Dragon Gramps look sown in shame as a ghost. My dude, you smashed the S instead of a D. What they say? Hey, Lucky Omega, hope the week has been well. Here's hoping the next week is just as chill as it should be. That's all for now. Bye-bye. Thank you very much, Suna. We will play Final Fantasy later. Prepare yourself. But moving on, this next one comes from Sakura Fan 07. They say, hey, Lucky Omega, hope you guys are doing well. Question, was there an event/welfare servant that you saw that you really had to get? For me, the four that come to mind were Rider Kentucky, BB, Assassin Shiki, and Gray. Looking forward to your next event pregame, and you guys keep up the great work. Stay awesome. You guys rock!
No, you rock.
You rock. How dare you come over here and give us positive encouragement? You get positive encouragement. That's how we work around here.
Also, I mean, all of them? I never really, I don't usually slack on welfares. Free servants, bruh.
Yeah, no, Lucky's internally horny on main and a fucking filthy completionist, kind of.
I mean, I guess when she was revealed, when we'd been playing the game for like a year, Summer Jalter, I was like, that's neat. That means I'll definitely get a Jalter. If I don't get one Jalter 30 SQ. It was like, okay. What's luck? Keeping in mind, by the way, that was the time that I then rolled like my remaining 200 or something Saint Courts for Maeve, and she didn't show up. She decided to come randomly on a non-raid update on Valentine's. Luck's weird, guys.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to think if there's one, like, specific. Like, I don't know if I was, like, Sakura Master Heroine when I found out about BB. Like, my transition to believing, Sakura's the best was actually gradual and happened over, like, my time playing, like, FGO and whatnot.
Yeah. I think actually if you go back to episode 1, I think we both agree that we like Rin the best.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Though, to be fair, Heaven's Feel wasn't out yet.
Yeah. But no, like I like all my welfares. I love them. Like every time.
Honestly, I feel like I have more anticipation for like this year, especially for new bronzes, because you have to roll those. I'm like, I can't wait to get into those FP mines. We're gonna roll some.
Yeah, no,
rolls.
like right now, like I can like. Well, even with the bronze, I'm just all like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for some Charlotte. I'm ready for some Gareth. I'm ready for some Jason. So
I'm like, Lost Boat 3 really turned me around. I didn't give a shit about Chen Gong, and now I'm like, okay, that guy's cool. I want that guy.
Yeah.
Not just because he does funny farming thing, also because he seems neat.
Gonna go burp. So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't necessarily have a good answer. I love all my servants, and I am excited for every time they come around. Every time. But I think that is enough on that. And we move on. This next one comes from That's a Wrap. They say, hey, Lucky Omega. Sticking with the theme of potential different endings for a Meihousou Most Foul, I was wondering if you think it'd be possible for the Chaldeans to survive their Lost Belt journey if they summon Moriarty instead of Holmes. Thanks for the podcast, and hope you all have a great day.
Well, so first of all, factual error. At no point have we summoned Holmes, pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that guy just showed up. Am I, didn't he just come home during Epic of Remnant, and he won't fucking leave?
Yeah. Well, you gotta remember, Holmes was, like, running around somewhere during hecking, Camelot.
Yeah, no, he's been running around since part 1, but I don't think he actually showed up at Chaldea canonically until he decided to just be here. He came home when we left Shinjuku, I guess.
Yeah. But if we were to say that Moriarty, he followed us home after Shinjuku, that makes sense. And that honestly also makes sense, because guess what? That's where Moriarty showed up.
Yeah.
And now, I will say, me personally, I think, yes, we have been successful, but we have succeeded in a different way than we have with Holmes. Because while both of those guys are both, brilliant, like, tacticians in their own right, they subscribe to different schools of thought. Now, because both of them like to play their cards close to the chest.
Yep. This was very apparent in this event, for sure.
Yes. Holmes does it because he wants to make sure that he has all of the cards before he shows his hands.
Yeah, he doesn't want to influence the case one way or another until he's sure he's got everything straight.
Yeah, they actually explained a little bit about this in the event, interestingly enough. Moriarty, plays his hands close because he wants no one to ever suspect it was him. He plays, sneaky, stealthily.
Yeah,
and
the classic metaphor is the spider in his web thing.
Yeah, spider in his web. He doesn't want you to know, until it's already done. So the way I would interpret this as is we would go through the events of the Lost Belts in a much more villainous fashion. I think it's the best way to say this. Like, Moriarty would probably withhold information and then give us little tidbits to move us on a path that would probably progress us into a success, but we would probably be making more questionable actions along the way.
He would also almost certainly be engaged in a more remote and manipulative fashion. Not necessarily of us, but just like he would definitely be a lot more subtle in his information gathering, and
he would also be someone who
suggestions.
Yeah. He would, probably influence people to take certain actions one way or another. Because Holmes is kind of standoffish in dealing with people. Like, he'll ask this question.
That's why he needs a Watson, right? He's not good with people.
Yeah. Moriarty will say something into someone's ear, and 5 pip later, that person's gonna do something because Moriarty said that.
All the while, Moriarty is like, "Oh, don't worry, Director Goldoff. I am a humble mathematics professor." Yeah.
So
Goldoff would definitely be a hardcore puppet man by Moriarty.
Yeah. So, now, honestly, with Moriarty, I feel like the story would become much more of a do the ends justify the means kind of thing. It
would also probably be a format that's not as suited for FGO because of the mechanics, but also would be a lot more, I don't want to keep saying subtle, but a lot less action-oriented and a lot more cerebral, because Holmes's nature of staging the big reveals means that he meshes perfectly with, doing big things in the story, plus his physical aptitude, with Maritsu means he can actually get in on some action scenes, as seen in Lost Belt 2. Lost Belt 2 would be Moriarty tanks with Coffin and shoots from very far away and still loses. Because
I do want to say with Moriarty, just because of the relationship we have with him, it would also probably a lot more comedic sections. Because, like I said,
and I think we see this in Old Spider Spins Its Web, and even in Meihousou. I joked about him just being like, I'm just a humble professor. Him actually playing up the good professor role would probably be more like that. Whereas, with Holmes, we have a little bit of we have the classic elementary my friend back and forth. He's just like, he asks you probing questions to be like, oh, did you figure it out? Don't worry, my friend. It's elementary. Let me explain. Whereas Moriarty would probably be more like, it would either be straight up here, let me just teach you the lesson of how this works, or it would be just like you said, subtle, little hints. He would just give you a little piece of the puzzle, and you'd assemble the rest without him having to say anything.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of, like I said, I have my beef with Holmes and how he does things, but, like I said, I'm, overall, I'm fine with, either way.
And I mean, I also think that Lost Belt 2 is deliberately written for Holmes to kind of understand the weaknesses of his method.
Yeah.
Because he got incapped hard and wasn't able to tell us about his possible conclusion for a long time. Mm-hmm. Not that necessarily would have helped us because of the scale of everything, but, he definitely had some information that he was like, yeah, I had no confirmation, I didn't really want to say anything. I wasn't really planning on getting punched out for, 60% of the story, sorry.
Stop dying, Suna. So, but I think we said enough on that.
Shout out to Lucky for taking this question a really long time. Usually we don't like hypotheticals, and I was just going to say yes, and then stop. But you had some thoughts and some feelings.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't a super open hypothetical.
True, it was very direct.
It was a very direct, and it gave us only the one alternative,
one single variable. Yeah,
yeah, that to me that's okay. It's when I have to start thinking about several dozens or I'm like no.
Well, hell,
why?
Even if we want to skip the hypothetical, we already had we had much less direct answers to the question about what clothing design do we like best, because that's so many servants to keep track of. Whereas this is just Hey, if you swap these two characters, what happens?
Do not take this as a fucking impetus to start just doing fucking character swap questions, guys. Please.
No, most of those questions will be dumb.
But no, like I said, Lucky has a brain. I use it sometimes. But no, we shall stop there and move on. This next one comes from the Tiger King holding back the tears after watching the Solomon trailer multiple times while prepping his tinfoil hat for anniversary.
Oh yeah, that's something we should have mentioned earlier. The July 30th date is like right around JP anniversary. So, well, we'll see what happens. Yes, this person has a question.
Yes, they have a question. And it starts with, question. What scene are you excited to see most in the Solomon movie? If this question has been answered, a following question will be like, if they continue the animated adaptations by Cloverwork, do you think EOR will be skipped and go straight into part 2? Have fun and chillax during this dead week. Rescue Rabbit Lucky and Black Rose Omega. Why are they calling you Black Rose?
Oh, those are both Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Ah. Oh, Rescue Rabbit. Duh. That's right. I remember it now. I'm smart.
I mean, I already joked about the Kuhaha, but like, it's the scene I probably want to see is the climax. It's gonna be our summoned or summoners, or it's gonna be Lord Camelot.
Like, the song they use in FGO is Snowflake Shield. But that whole scene where it's just the main theme, but Music Box.
Music Box
and then,
remix is OP, please nerf.
Please nerf. And just everything following that. Like, honestly, that's what I'm here for. I am ready to die. Y'all know, like, I know I've mentioned this, but when we did Solomon, I like hard cried like 3 times during that event.
Yeah, I believe you said you straight up cried several times.
Yeah. So
to answer the second half of your question, because why not?
Why not?
I'm actually quite curious how they'll handle it. I do suspect that some EOR content may be skipped. I don't know if they want to jump straight into part 2, because while they certainly could do a full season on like Lost Belt 1 or whatever, I don't know if we're actually going to do it that way. But
honestly, you know what I'd say?
What's probably likely is they will do partial. They may pilot it, for instance. They may like throw out like a Shinjuku movie or single season.
Honestly, I feel like they just skip straight to Shimosa. Like, bam, we're going to do this one.
Yeah, that was the other thing. In general, I was going to say was that they will probably do partial adaptations of things they know will do well with their audience. Shimosa does establish Lost Belt concepts, as we bring up. It's a proto Lost Belt, not really an Epic of Remnant. There's no Demon Pillar in it. It sets up characters who are very popular in Japan with the writers. I know some people will want to be like, but I don't love Musashi, and I'll be like, well, guess what? You don't write FGO. So,
I mean, you would also have, like, Muramasa in there. You would have
It would be an opportunity to introduce Shuten and Raiko, who won't have any opportunity to show up otherwise, because they're all in events. Tomoe shows up. Hyozin. Depending on, obviously, if they did it, like, as a season or a movie. You know, they may or may not cut out. Doman shows up. I do believe he's actually a little bit popular. There was a lot of art about him, but that might just be because he's so weird.
We just get a lot.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of characters and a lot of plot stuff you could build on in there. You would get the opportunity for alternate Kiyohime cameo, the Princess Kiyo thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff you could do there. And plus, you get to have your big budget Musashi Kojiro fight, which you all know you want to see. Don't you lie to me.
But yeah, let's leave it at there and move on. So thank you very much. This next one comes from Baghead Karen's #1 fan. Are you sure you're number 1? They say, hey guys, what do you think will happen to the mini servants introduced in FGO after service ends? Mainly those who aren't popular enough already to appear in future products. They will probably just stay in the game.
Shrug. I shrug.
I mean, honestly, like, what do you think? They're gonna start doing individual products for every single fucking servant? No.
Well,
listen,
besides the fact that they already do a lot of like acrylic stands and shit.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like I said, they'll probably keep making merch, but like, guys, man, like FGO is not going to be eternal. It's not. Get that into your brains now.
Now that said, I do actually I expect that even if they end it, they will probably be like an FGO 2 or like an alternate service, or they may keep the servers running with like catching up on reruns and stuff for a while, right?
Right.
Because this is a very profitable product and it's very popular, and there's while stories do have to end in terms of games as a service, there's no reason to also just turn out your fucking lights when you still have players. That sits wrong with a lot of your player base. So, but, I mean, FGO has a huge roster. No, not everybody's universally popular. I do think, as Lucky said, there will probably still be merch appearances, and there'll be old merch left over that they haven't moved yet.
But no, other
than that
they're
shrug.
They're consigned to the void.
What happens, happens.
Like, I mean,
FGO is already our, I don't want to say dumping ground, but already our zone for salvaging servant concepts that never was.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Think about this. You already answered your own question. If they're not popular, why would you want more of it?
Correct. That said, and also, the phrasing is a little weird. What do you think will happen to the servants? They just won't show up.
They'll live eternal on my phone data.
They'll be just like all those people who, all those characters in that ensemble cast anime you watch that you don't give a shit about. They got introduced once, and then they maybe had one fight, and then you never heard from them again.
Clearly, what I should do is when FGO ends, I'm gonna get like the fucking little Excalibur thumb drive. I'm gonna import the entire fucking thing, all my data, and all that stuff just onto that thumb drive, and then I'm gonna bury it. And then, I don't know, 300 years, when, the Earth is overrun with, aliens or something, the apocalypse has happened, someone's gonna dig this up, they're gonna plug it in, they're just gonna be like, what the fuck is this? And then throw it away. Did I say something weird?
No, it's having a conversation of their own.
No, unfortunately, I find this out a lot through playing Final Fantasy. When Lucky's just on a roll, just improving something off the top of his head, he'll say just a lot of wrong words. It's bad, y'all.
I mean, I can't throw stones. Y'all heard me improv the intro today. I got that comment. Somebody was like, "Did you say 500 mana prisms? Isn't it? I only got 200." And they were concerned. I'm like, "Listen, no. I probably said it wrong because I was doing News Desk, and that show is very unscripted. Very unscripted. But it does have a cool intro." That's it.
Loth probably likes it more when I get absolutely distracted doing something. He just says completely something random, though. I have had heard Loth and Suna both die because I'll just be yelling at something and literally go, "Oh, look, a rainbow."
Tissues. Moon Knight.
Oh!
I'm just remembering old Game Grumps bits of just whenever you... These are make the best animations. Whenever they're clearly so focused on the game and they just have to use their mouth holes, and it's just that's when all the best random improv stuff comes out. 30 years experience of jack it off. Alright, let's move on. Whomst is next. Wait. Is my internet being weird? It's because I'm seeing a loading circle, but nothing else is loading. That's weird.
How many have we? No, I clearly have not done. Okay, I'm gonna have to refresh this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I count 10 left on my screen.
Alright, let me sort by newest. Wait, no. Okay, so I had to refresh this and put it up, and now I'm up to fucking 30. Luckily, the one that's new is at the top, because it's sorted by fucking time. So I'll do this one, I guess. But, the person behind you, right now, oh shit! They're dead. Moving on.
That's canon, by the way, now. You know who you are. You're dead. Lucky killed
You're dead. I threw my fucking half-filled water bottle, it hit you in the head, you're dead.
What, Lax, you don't love Lucky ASMR? Lucky is one of the great improv comedy minds of Let's Talk FGO's generation. People be like, Omega, what does that mean? I'm like, I don't know.
Alright, but in memory to this person, the corpse on my ground right now. Oh man, I'm gonna have to get rid of this. I will read their dying message. They say, anyway, Axe, you're killing me. There's gonna be 2 corpses here now, and you're gonna have to fucking deal with them.
Get some lime. Not the kind you put into coconut.
It's the white powder stuff. You can put it in barrels, put a body in there, completely melts down. It's great.
Caustics. Anyway, this person had a question. It's like,
you don't want me to answer that question, Axe. So they say, anyway, my question is, what are your thoughts on the figures that split into multiple figures? Examples, Dark Sakura Saber Altar, Tomo Nero Race Queens, and the Abby Hokusai Maid figures. Is it possible to just get one? Honestly, in my opinion, it is the most evil but effective thing, considering I'm super Kintat and the Hoku Abby Maid figures. That's marketing, my dude.
Talking about it.
He's talking about how there's some figures that are actually 2 figures in one, but you have to buy them together and they raise the price accordingly.
I mean, that's just like everything else. Products.
That's marketing, my dude.
Yeah, just buy them if you want. I don't know. Do you want a maid combo figure And
I do.
if you want just one of them, are you willing to pay the price for two of them because they come as a package deal? Because fuck you. Welcome to capitalism, everybody. Free market at work. The Invisible Man.
Hey! I don't know what that sound was.
What gifts are happening? Sorry, I'm looking at general. I know that they're doing a thing, but we've gotten some bold gift choices tonight.
Hang on. Now I'm curious. Lucky's gonna
Well, so one of them is some chick cosplaying as an RTX 2080, including spinning her own air fan. That's just weird, but also adorable. Lof's just fucking it up.
I gave that one to Loft.
The second one, though, is there's a guy in his looks like his own home Cruising USA simulator, where he's got a TV and the full like steering wheel and shit bolted onto one of those ride vehicle simulators. So he's actually doing the fucking crazy turns and pivots and shit.
Nice. Well, shit's happening there, so I'm gonna keep going.
Yes.
So let me go back to where we were.
The last question we read was from Baghead. I do believe that the
I found it.
next one will be Yinzer. Yes.
So here we are. So this next one comes from the Yinzer, who says, "Dear Lucky Omega, what has been your most blurst rolls ever?" I'm assuming blurst is a combination of blessed and cursed.
Correct.
All right. For example, I tried rolling for Old Man Lee earlier in the year, got 2 Rainbow Sparkles into Assassin cards in a row, both are Osakawa Hime. Have you had any burst rolls yourself? I wish Yins good luck on all your future rolls. Okay,
I had
so
to
guys,
very deeply resist laughing as somebody posted a screen cap in the patron chat. Which
5
is,
Caesars in a roll.
Yes, 5 Caesars in a row. Oops, all
I have
Caesars.
come. Oh, it must be Saber Day.
Yeah, it's probably from Saber Day.
Yeah.
And this is why class banners are bullshit. Oh, this was just in general?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. That's rigged. That's literally 7 Lancers and 3. I'm not like why did I say Lancers? That's 7 Sabers.
Anyway, blurst rolls. I've talked about this. I think for the purposes of the description, that's 5 Teslas, 6 tickets. I was rolling for Lancer Alter. I did not get her, but I got 2 of the story locked 5-star on the banner, which is pretty freaky. I technically rolled a Maeve on a non-rate up day. That was weird. I was trying to roll MHXA, but they were like, "Here's your Maeve instead, sir." And I was like, "Okay, we take those." As I'm just at the consignment stand and they just hand me a Maeve, and I'm just like, "Fine, I'll take it. Put it in a bag.
Go home." Listen, guys, I roll so goddamn much. Okay? I don't fucking know. I have so many SSRs that I'm like, when did I even get you?
I think, Lucky, honestly, we've reached a point of Let's Talk FGO. It could be the Mama series, but I don't even know. I think that's just straight up cursed. That goes beyond it. Once you get 5, you need to stop.
What were you saying?
What I was going to say, Lucky, was that I think hopefully we've reached a point where, much like us talking about how many servants there are, people should understand the audience if they've been listening to us for a while, and even if this is just your first time, Lucky has just told you, you have done a lot of rolls in your time. It's very hard to remember every single time you roll about stuff.
Like, guys, how many meals can you remember you've eaten? How far back?
Like, do you need to ask them how much bread have they eaten in their life?
Yeah.
How many breads have you eaten? The other thing was the other famous meme line I was gonna be like, you know, for everybody else, this blursh thing was the most important thing in their lives, but for you, it's Tuesday. You know, like it's just a day at the office for us. I'm gonna readjust my mic arm and stuff. I leaned down for a second, and I'm like, that's not comfortable.
Nope. Okay, so I wish I could give you an answer. I've done some weird shit. Honestly, I'll say this. I'm not necessarily trying to shill, but if weird shit happens to me, I guarantee you I talked about it on one of the Let's Talk FGO episodes. Like, this is the story of 13 mamas. This is the story of my Bryn blowout, the story of my fucking MHF blowout.
I mean, that's what all the world's evil was made for. Was for
it was literally made for because Lucky just does some shit. I'm just like, I need to talk about this. Listen. Lucky has never cried after rolling. Lucky completely knows what he has done. And he's just like, I shouldn't have done that, but I did. And here we are. And now I have some SSRs that I didn't necessarily want, but hey.
Lucky, would you say perhaps such devastation?
I can't. It kills me that you use this.
Listen, I hang out with Loth on the reg, okay?
Oh, is Lothman using it that one?
Yes, no. Loth and a couple of other people know the joke, so he like sometimes we'll just be talking about stuff and he'll just bust out such devastation. I'm like, okay, I have observed you guys enough in your meme ways to get this joke now.
How very glib. Ugh.
Though also, Lucky, slight how dare you for watching the scene from The Losers with Chris Evans singing Journey and putting that in my YouTube history. How very dare. God, I love that. That movie's good, guys. If you haven't seen The Losers, remember when Chris Evans wasn't just in Marvel movies? He was in a lot of movies. He's good. He's cool.
Oh, okay, tangent time. So, I don't remember how we got on the story, but we got started talking about Chris Evans and whatnot, and I told him, yeah, no, I remember him from Not Another Teen Movie, but the role that, that stuck out to me was him in The Losers, and he's like, people were like, he was in The Losers? I was like, yeah, he was in the fucking Losers! And I was talking about the iconic fucking, Journey scene as he's playing Skippy, the
Journey / Mind Bullet scene, which I do distinctly remember.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, no, so I posted it,
He's
and I
singing,
died
by the
laughing.
way, one of the 2 Journey songs that you know. It's usually the first one you know.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, no, this is like when he's still, ripped and hot, but he likes to wear his glasses and makes nothing but jokes.
And he's also still, this is still a comic book adaptation. I also distinctly remember, I'm fairly certain, hold on, let me double check if this is the name of that movie.
I would sing Journey right now, but I don't want to get fucking content ID.
The movie Push from 2009, where he plays a telekinetic.
Oh yeah, he was in that.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
And that movie is super my aesthetic, but also, I remember him.
I don't want to say it's forgettable. It's just I was watching a lot of movies at the time.
Also, it was like 12 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's like we were also talking about Chris Evans was in the fucking Scott Pilgrim versus the World movie. He was the second, Evil X.
Yeah, he fucking was.
It's like, oh yeah,
Scott Pilgrim.
Called the Grime,
First of all,
bro.
the Scott Pilgrim movie is full of so many people you didn't realize who they were.
No, he was not. He was not a vegan police. That was Rob Schneider and fucking I can't remember his name, but he was a guy who he played the main character in The Mist, which you should probably never fucking watch. You'll die.
But that guy, vegan boyfriend, was Brandon Routh. Also, Envy is now Captain Marvel. Wild. Like I said, when that movie came out, you didn't realize how many future famous people were in it. But yeah,
like I said,
Scott Pilgrim in the movie is good.
Well, that's the Marvel operandi. Let's get small time people, put them in a good movie, and basically grow their market value. Boom.
But yeah, that's why I made the joke when I was talking about. Remember when Chris Evans wasn't just in Marvel movies, because they really locked up his schedule for a few years there.
Yeah, they did.
Now he can go do and other things.
I remember him Snowpiercer. That was a weird movie.
I don't think I've ever actually sat down and watched Snowpiercer, but I have heard of it and I've seen the images. You were right; it looks like a weird ass movie.
Oh,
where were we?
All right.
I think we're between questions.
Yeah, we were in between questions. I'm sorry, I got distracted because memes. How dare?
Don't stop reading. Something. Hold on to that mailbag. I lost it. I'm very tired. It's like 10:30 at night. We joked about news at 11.
Reading up and down the comic going. Oh, I'm not gonna keep going. We'll probably get hit just on the fucking tune. So we move on. This next one comes from the hardest choices require the strongest wills. I don't have much of that last part. You're calling me out here. But they say, hey, Lucky Mega, how's FGO downtime treating ya? Well, closest we'll get to a vacay in this game. I was settled on rolling for a Juno Alter after his Waykill prowess and general badass design, but upon seeing an influx of Musasi's Zerk art recently, I've been steadily getting more and more confused. What servant changed your opinion the most with their art/design? I will give this one a solid think, but I don't believe I've necessarily had my mind changed over design. Usually what changes my mind is actually their personality and end-game actions, I'll say.
See, I think that's the only thing. Like, we get to see all of the characters' ascensions and sprites and all that other shit, way ahead of time, thanks to the power of clairvoyance.
Powerful, yo.
So we know the designs ahead of time. We know the designs before we know some of the characters sometimes, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, I don't think my mind has ever been changed on a servant in terms of their design. Also, clearly the superior Summer Musashi is the alternate tanned version of Ascension 3. Anyway.
Tan lines are powerful. So, they finished off with "Have a lovely week ahead." P.S. Summer Musashi second in Ascension for the win.
Which is why I made sure to get in there. I comment sniped you, buddy. I got in there first.
Mm-hmm.
I poisoned the well. But yeah, so just in general, I think we're not really swayed by design. We're much more swayed by actually seeing a character in writing, because people on the internet who translate things are full of lies. I mean, that's not 100% true. There are some trustworthy people, but in general, at least 50% of rough translations of events you get within those first couple of days when they hit an FGO are bullshit. Don't listen to them.
I do not remember the Argartha nonsense, but again, I usually don't listen to other people, for better or worse.
Well, yeah, Lucky does not moderate any of our spoiler channels, so Omega takes that under upon himself for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
That,
so,
and I am helped by our one of our lovely moderators, Zero Ranma, who is an absolute mad lad, and he always does his best to complete JP's story events right when they come out. So he's always very reliable at moderating spoiler stuff. But yeah,
so we shall move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from a master arguing with Anderson on writing styles while Shakespeare laughs in the corner. So clearly you're getting roasted constantly and probably crying. But they say, "Hey there, boys. Hope you had fun making a movie." I'm probably older than you, so don't call me boy. I'll slap you. Considering the nature of lost belts and the fact that we can collect resources from them, is it also possible to bring back people and creatures as well? The possibility for study and research from those lost worlds seems pretty interesting, and I'm curious if there'd be any merit to doing that, seeing as now we have a home base in the Wandering Sea. Hope we both are well, and I can't wait for Lost Belt 4.
So I want to say this. I don't know if we can actually collect resources from Lost Belts. Canonically, when you destroy the tree, they turn back into the white nothingness. I think it's just a gameplay conceit, because that's how the singularities worked. Because they need to give you permanent maps to explore.
Yeah. I feel like they do something like maybe you gather magical energy from them, and maybe you turn that into resources.
Yeah, there's definitely... It's been mentioned a couple of times offhandedly that we can... While, yes, you can ray shift to get supplies, we also can get certain things out of the simulator by simulating them. Mm-hmm. So the simulators basically mimic certain environments. We go in there, we punch stuff, and we get usable resources out of it.
So I'm assuming, yeah, that's what we need. That's why we keep collecting Holy Grails, because guess what? We use that to power shit. And with all the, like I said, this is probably like some sort of weird handing, but with all the fucking magical caster servants and all the goddamn item creation, I'm pretty sure they can pop out just about anything with just a little bit of magical energy and an idea. Jesus.
I mean, yeah, that's what Da Vinci's for.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she was hired in the first place.
Yeah. Like, literally, Da Vinci's workshop is a magical reactor for Chaldea.
Mm-hmm. Which is where we go to buy stuff.
Yeah. Actually, are mana prisms just literally like is mana prisms the resource we collect and we turn that into resources? Holy shit.
There's a lore note on mana prisms. Sorry about
the what?
On there. I said, let me check if there's a lore note on mana prisms. Crystal created by concentrating mana. So yeah, I mean, they're made of concentrated mana, so.
Yeah, I feel like we literally turn those into resources. And eat them. Yeah, why not?
Well, I mean, they're just crystallized mana. You can eat them.
Delicious.
So
we're gonna move on.
The rare prism description is so useless. Crystal created by concentrating mana under a special environment. Period. The crystallized form of a rare mana. Okay, great, cool, very informative, very helpful. Thanks, Da Vinci.
All right. We move on. Thank you. This one comes from the Eternal Storm, who says, "Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the movie event. Question: is there a miscellaneous fact about yourself that you wouldn't mind sharing? Anyways, thank you for the podcast, and hope to roll Arjuna Arthur, I can word, next month. Miscellaneous fact. What's a miscellaneous fact about me?
Spoilers, I was homeschooled until college, starting at 3rd grade.
I have been homeless, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times and had my house burned down on me. Been in, 3 car wrecks. Got abandoned at a port once. And lost my virginity to a stripper. There, I think that's enough.
That's several facts. He's overcompensating.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not like a bad story, I may want to hear the left at port story sometime. I'm just thinking, was that just like Skipper was like, you gotta be back on the boat on time? And they were like, that guy's not back, or?
No. God, what port was it? Was it Marseille? Was it Civitavecchia? It might have been Civitavecchia, which is in the Med. But So go to Civitavecchia. It's a tourist trap. It's really cool. It's a really nice place. Really lovely. It's like peak med. It's peak med culture. But usually when the boat leaves, they don't like necessarily check that everyone's there. They just like, all right, it's time to fucking go. And I don't know how this happened. I really don't, because at the time I was in the bosun's department. Bosun's department is we actually get the ship underway. We pull up the anchors and stuff. We actually pilot the boat. I piloted a boat. I've actually held the direction of a multi-billion-dollar piece of equipment in my hand, and it goes wherever I go, where I want it to go. Unfortunately, there's usually other 6 dudes on the bridge with me telling me which way to go, and I don't want to fucking disobey them. So I usually listen to what they say, but I have the wheel in my hand. But during this time, Lucky was young, he was dumb, and he had way too much fucking money, so he spent the night out drinking and doing things of ill repute. I don't think I need to go into detail about that. Unfortunately, he drank too much and played around too much and fell asleep, which is bad because we usually have a curfew. For whatever reason, they didn't find out. They didn't realize I was missing. And come the next morning, they were supposed to actually set underway, they just up and fucking left. Now, fortunately, it wasn't long. The boat actually hadn't got out to like past the horizon. So they just literally dropped the fucking, because big ships usually have boats that they can drop in the water for like rescue ops and whatnot. They literally just dropped that and came and got me. And I did not like what happened after that. That was a lot of yelling. Oh boy. So they just literally dropped that to pick me up. Like if they gone out further, they probably would have to send a helicopter, or I had to wait for another boat to come and grab me. But no, it wasn't anything like super major, but it was funny. Well, in the first place, I shouldn't have. I said,
like you said, he had a curfew. He shouldn't have been off the boat at that time. That said, also, how dare you get left behind because nobody thought to check and pre-reprimand you, get started on reprimanding you for being out too late by, I don't know, making sure you were there at all and hadn't decided to just skip the boat and ditch in Italy, it sounds like. Or possibly Spain.
No, I think it's actually a small island nation. No, that's Cyprus. I think it's Italy. Yeah. Italy. Yeah, Italy. Civitavecchia is in Italy, I believe. No, listen. Well, I don't necessarily want to talk shit, but boats in the bosun department, that's where you send all the fuck ups. Not great. Ooh.
It's also historically the bosun or boatswain is historically a very important and quite significant rank on the boat. It's kind of a big deal.
Like I said, I'm lucky. I'm a 19-year-old kid who has no idea what's the world, and I'm messing around with a multi-million-dollar piece of equipment in my hand. It's kind of great.
And being paid money.
Mm-hmm.
Military's weird, guys. Anyway.
It is weird. Anyway.
Where was we? That was Eternal Storm? Okay, I see. I see where we are.
Alright, okay, here we are. Now, thank you for that. I hope you got enough facts about Lucky. I don't know where you're well, I guess you could be right back, but I'm not gonna... if you don't say anything for a bit, I'm not gonna be like, where's Law?
Where did he go? He's just like all the other people listening quietly to the Patreon channel. There's
but this next one comes from... this next one comes from, now for the main event, Luvia versus Kets in a steel cage match. Only on Chaldea Wrestling Federation. Sorry, my word.
CWF, my favorite wrestling stable.
Mm-hmm. Evening in the morning, how have you been? I got 2 questions. We're all bound to have bonds in CE, so my question is, which one, besides Herc CE, do you like the best, and why? And the other one is, what style of GSR barters do you enjoy, i.e. by year or class?
Okay, so that second question is a lot easier to answer than that first one, because I don't think I actually use any of my Bond CEs, because Herc's not one of them, so most of them are useless. We've had this conversation a lot in the past, but it has been several months since it came up. But Bond CEs kind of suck. Please fix. So, GSSR banners, I think my personal favorite is actually the specifically by class, like literally one for each class type stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot easier to narrow your focus on. I've already had this discussion because people are animals and are already discussing the GSSR. I mean, I guess it is only about a month away, but still. Or over a month. 6 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks? Somewhere in there. But I've looked at the split, and I believe it is Cavalry Knights this time. Both of those could be very bad for me, because I've got a lot of them in certain areas. And I don't necessarily want to double up on any of those. So yeah, individual class, it's really easy to just go, well, I can stand an extra in this class the most. I can go for that. That's fine. Though obviously, I would probably never roll Lancer ever, because just the great Tamamo Lancering of 20 whatever that year was. What are years, guys? Lucky, how about you?
Me? I guess I'm definitely for class. If we're talking about Bonzi-E's, though, I love my Tamamo Bonzi-E. It's simple. It does. She's on the field. Everyone gets 15% arts up. It's great. It's useful. It does exactly what I need to do. Yay!
And it's true that Tamamo probably does not need a CE slot most of the time.
No, like I said, she's a support caster. She will... You give her a few turns, she'll have her MP already, and then she just, facilitates the loops. And so her Bonzi-E assists her with that. Yeah. So, that is that. And we will move on. This next one comes from The Man Who Simps Part 5, VTuber Boogaloo. Happy late birthday to Ina. I saw your shit on Times Square. That shit's wild. We live in a society. So, they say, greetings, luxurious, laudable, lucky, and obscure observer Omega. I love alliteration. 10 points. How was your week? Mine was okay. Ozzy spooked me in the last day of the rain is better, but at least now, it's NP2. And also, the imminent threat that is LB4 panel is getting closer every time. I'm worried. You should be.
You will be.
Question. Favorite at the roundtable? FGO only. Question mark. Why do you have to put caveats on it? Mine's gotta be a tie between Bedivere and Gwaine. Arrivederci.
So that's not spaced out. To me, it just says Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
There may need to be a space there. Also, guys, you need me to fucking answer this question? You don't know this already? It's Mordred.
Lucky's not very much particularly versed in the matters of Britain, but I do enjoy me as Saber Lancelot. I think he's sad, but also great. He's a sad dad, who's also a Chad. I did a lot of ad there. Good job, man.
Sad Chad dad. What is this, Between the Lions? Rhyming?
Between the Lions. I remember that show. That was great. I like that shit better more than Sesame Street.
I mean, not to get into a huge tangent because I fucking love defunct TV or anything, but they are different demographics. I believe Between the Lions was specifically developed by the Children's Broadcasting Association because they wanted a show that was a higher tier above Sesame Street, not to just teach you basic letters and numbers, but actually start teaching you reading and language comprehension skills.
Oh, interesting. All right.
I mean, I don't know. Have you met Kay? Well, he's not an FGO, so no, actually, you can't.
Haha.
Just say FGO only. Haha, you've been got. Kay has not canonically appeared for sure yet. Let's move on.
We move on. So thank you for that, and we move on to a hunter searching for a place worth having an epic fight in. Well, make sure you have the proper background music. That's super important. But they say, now that we got a bit of a wait up until the big content like a full event or a story chapter, I hope everyone can get themselves some rest from the event fatigue you may or may not have. And I hope you, Duel Master Omega, and you, MMO Addict Lucky, excuse you, I am not an addict, I can quit anytime I please. How dare you?
But Lucky, do you, an MMO junkie, have a diary? Perhaps some confessions?
No, I feel like I'm gonna go watch that again now. It's good.
Anyway.
So, and you, MMO enthusiast, Lucky, that's right, I had
editorializing,
are having a nice start to your weekend. Also, may your future gacha luck shine through the deepest pits of despairing salt. It has to be some very, very hot and bright light, and then we're gonna have molten salt. What does molten salt even turn into? Actually, no, if it's NaCl, so that turned into... There'd be chlorine involved in that. That's terrifying.
I mean, I think it would have a molten temperature and then a boiling point, but I actually don't know if you boil it, will it break the ionic bond? That might just be pure sodium components and chlorine gas, yeah.
Oh god, that'd be terrifying. Sorry, I got thinking on science. But they also say, lastly, one hopefully small question. If FGO got a fighting game... Okay, full stop. Why do we keep coming back to an FGO fighting game? It's been a while, but everyone wants to talk about an FGO fighting game.
It's probably because Melty Blood exists and also fighting game fans are animals.
It is true. I swear to God, someone's always talking about fighting games in our games channel. If it's not King of Fighters, it's hecking Guilty Gear, and if it's not those two, it's Melty Blood, and then we start switching into like Under Night. Oh god, what else have people been talking about in there? And no one ever wants to talk about Dead or Alive. I love Dead or Alive. I cry. That reminds me, I need to pick up those games. Anyway, so if you got a fighting game, what big moments in the story would you want to be seen as stage backgrounds? For example, a Babylonian stage where you see Tiamat's attack on Uricap in the background with racing cons as time progresses. Oh, that's only one. Never mind. Well, I mean, like, honestly, you can probably do most fucking, like, depending on the level of detail, you can probably do most. Like, you know, you can have this burning city of Fuyuki. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily even be just, you know, crazy, just the burning city of Fuyuki in the background. There's fire everywhere. Maybe there's the Grail spitting out mud up there. Scary. You know, Orleans, let's put it in the big fucking castle. You know, let's put some soldiers, like, fighting on the ramparts against dragons. Honestly, I don't know what they fucking do with Septim. Septim is so nondescript.
Some kind of Roma room.
A
Coliseum, maybe?
Yeah, probably. Probably a Coliseum.
You could absolutely do a Coliseum.
America, let's do it at the fucking White House.
Yeah, the White House courtyard with the pillars and the statues and stuff.
And we'll put a fuck ton of demon pillars everywhere. Just
Camelot, you either do it outside the gates or you do it in the throne room.
Okeanos, on a ship.
Yeah, on the ship deck, just like those scenes.
Mm-hmm. London, you either do it like on the sky next to Big Ben, or maybe like deep underground.
The sky stage, with the skyline of like old timey London would probably be the coolest.
Yeah, like as we said, Babylonia, the attack on Uruk, or maybe even the underworld. Both of those can work.
You could do an underworld to be a cool stage. You could do the big wall. Mm-hmm. Also, by the way, I was fixing an external issue with some Patreon stuff, so I think I completely blanked out on the actual text of this question.
Well then, Legendary Greek Doctor, you're not a fan if you don't like it, even through the bad.
I mean, I don't think that's 100% true. You can like a series and then they do something and you're like, guys, I would like you to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, we've talked about this before. We're not huge fans of those last couple Star Wars movies, but I still like Star Wars. It kind of helps that
but even
the better content.
But even though we say we're not the best, we don't necessarily shit on them either.
True.
Like, here's the thing: if you can go into something and still enjoy it, even if it's not the best, that's when I'll say you're a fan. Like I said, like I went into the Star Wars movies like, okay, these aren't the best, but you know, I appreciate the time that I went into them. If you just go in to say something, yeah, I like this, but they're just not good anymore, I'm like, then why do you still like it?
That is a question, I guess. Do you still like it?
Yeah, do you actually still like it? Or are you just liking it for the nostalgia things? Can you still find entertainment in even the bad things that they have now? That's actually, I feel like that's much more of a metaphysical question of interest and whatnot. Yeah. See, it's like, so they went on to say, like, I mean, I still like the series, but I hope it gets better. See, that's fair. Yeah, I can still think, like, you always want to hope for things to get better. But don't say, like, don't, like, if I say, because this, actually, I guess this is the crux of the problem. I say I like someone, and someone who says they're a fan immediately comes back as, yeah, but they suck, even though I'm a fan.
I also like that thing, but also
it sucks.
Kind of
so I'm just like,
it's true.
That's what gets me. You know, like I said, one of my main maxims: let people enjoy things.
It's one of our rules, which you have to agree to now if you join our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we got like 4 left. Let's go.
So, where are we? Yeah, so thank you for the question. Like I said, it was a little bit more open than I thought, but it was something easy that we can get through. So, hey, no harm, no foul.
Again.
So, the next one comes from Moon is currently crying with Bedivere, comforting over not getting Tristan. Oh, and Jalter came too, I guess. But this is the mother message Tristan. That's a powerful mood. You're super powerful.
Wow, that sound wave there, I tried to like subtly whisper big mood. That sound wave is awful. That is not going in the final product. Sorry.
I'm like, what does ambivalence mean again?
Ambivalence is a state of being both positively and negatively inclined about something.
Yeah. No, that tracks then.
It's not quite having no feelings, but it's like, let me see if I can find a good, shorter definition than that. Yes, having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas. So like, you're like, I like it, but also I don't like it.
That's fair.
A lot more people should admit they're ambivalent about a lot of things, because it's not like being apathetic. It's not like you have no feelings, but rather you have feelings that conflict at times.
Yeah, no. I'm very ambivalent about many things. I'm okay with that. Like I said, like, I could have looked it up, but I was gonna have to read. I was like, and you just heard Lucky being all like, several times as I constantly misspell ambivalence.
Uh-huh.
So, they say...
Hamter. We're experiencing live mailbag edits. Actually, no, I'm not really that ambivalent about Kingdom Hearts. Generally, I'm very positive, but I also admit that I had to do a lot of fucking work to be positive about Kingdom Hearts. As in, physically, I had to play a lot of fucking Kingdom Hearts games. It took me a long time.
But Moon says, hello, Lucky Omega. How are you? I hope you guys are doing great today. Question, why are reality marbles considered taboo for mages? Since most mages either want to reach the root or hone their craft, you think they want to experiment and test it out in depth. Also, the conditions on how someone can acquire/create one is really vague, unless they're servants. You just somehow have one like a scander.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily taboo. I think it's more that just that having a reality marble would be so fucking OP that you would get a ceiling designation. We joked earlier about the ceiling designation, right?
Right.
Being mage jail. And it is. But it's not because they're like, you're a fucking criminal, we gotta lock you up. It's because, hello, yes, you've developed such a unique and special and potentially dangerous talent that we need to sit on you and make sure that you don't do anything weird or break anything or, like, accidentally blow yourself up before you write down how you did that thing you did. So, reality marbles, I think most characters who say they have a reality marble who are not servants would qualify for the ceiling designation. I think that is explicitly brought up, by the way, in some outros of Unlimited Blade Works, that if people knew Shiro could do what he does, he would be a big-time, big boy timeout. Mage Association. Yeah. But yeah, it's not necessarily a taboo. They definitely do want to hone that craft. It's just that reality marbles are very singular. It's not a very easily copied power. Hell, just even see how many different variants Shiro has over the different iterations of his character, right?
Right.
So it's a very singular thing that's very hard to transcribe and actually like figure out how it works. So I'm sure they would be interested in studying it. It's a very unique ability that's intrinsically hard to contain. So most of them are probably not super excited about it.
Remember, people don't like things they can't control. So that's that. Thank you very much. We shall move on. This next one comes from Mooncell Movie Marketing. Excuse me. We got alliteration here. Mooncell Movie Marking Master on the lookout for elephants. They say, hello, Omega and Lucky. No questions this time, just well wishes for LB4 Banos / going through story. Well, thank you. Same to you. Hope you get what you wish for. And then a little bit extra. And then a little bit on top of that. Like I said, I want you to be resplendent and good shit. That is that. Enough well wishes for you. We move on. This next one comes from Lost Sleep twice this week due to invading stink bugs. Holy shit.
Lucky that's a problem I don't have to deal with here.
I don't either. I got an ant infestation, but they alright. They don't bug me much.
Yeah, we got some small ones we gotta get rid of. We've also had some, I don't know what the fuck they are. There's some winged insects that have gotten in since we redid the siding on the side of the house, and I'm sure we exposed something to the air. But they don't really seem to cause problems. They just lurk in corners and are kind of gross. Thank God, it's been a while since we had spiders invade. I think since it's been cold.
If you guys want to hear something a little gross, Lucky had Taco Bell a couple days ago, and I accidentally left my leftovers out. So my 2 chalupas got filled with some ants. I ate them anyway.
I mean, ants are protein. If you can stand eating ants.
Yeah.
I don't think I would risk that in Florida just because we have fire ants. I don't really want to eat one of those.
Mm-hmm.
That would be bad for you. But no, like if you can stomach to eat an ant, there's nothing actually wrong with that. They're protein.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can call fire ants spicy, Loth.
No, like I said, I nuked the chalupas for 30 seconds, so I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, ants are tiny. I don't really know if they stand up to microwaves. I'm certain it's sterile. Anyway, I mean they deep fry ants. Usually, when you cook insects, you do it with insects with more body or bugs in general. You know, like putting a scorpion in a lollipop. I probably wouldn't want to eat a scorpion because they seem pointy. You know?
I'm not a fan of crunchy and points.
It seems like it'd be sharp. I don't want to find a sharp, crunchy center to my lollipop. Where was we? We got 2 left.
I know where they are. Don't worry.
All right, you got it.
They say, "Hey guys, hopefully your week has been much better than mine. I just came to say hi and hope that the problem listed in my alias doesn't continue to make me lose sleep. I hope so too. That seems like a crappy situation to be in.
Yeah. Obviously, not everybody has the ability to. We, for instance, living in a lakeside area with lots of nature around us. We have a bug guy come once a month to to re-up the bugs. Spray some stuff, keep them out, make them go away.
I need to clean my room and probably spray some stuff myself.
Recommend some baits, maybe. I don't know much about the stink bug ecology, but it shouldn't be too hard to order some insect baits or some traps. Some of which, by the way, can be perfectly humane. You may also be able to find deterrents, and I hope you have a pleasant sleep. As a person who, not in this house, but in another house, has been ambushed by millipedes in his own bed, we don't want things invading our sleep space. We sleep here.
Millipedes?
Yeah. They're not really that big of a deal. Millipedes, like when you threaten them, they just roll up in a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness it wasn't a centipede. We didn't have a lot of those. Because those fuckers will, like, bite or sting. But millipedes are just like, oh no, I'm in danger. Let me roll up all my bajillion legs. Now, if you handle a millipede, you probably want to wash your hands, because a lot of them are actually toxic, but...
Really?
Yeah. Also, Tyrannoking, come on. You're still in the wrong chat. I'm also going to delete that GIF, because that might freak people out. Gotta go up.
So, thank you for that. But we're going to move on to the last one. Yes, we're on the last one. We actually got through all 30. So, this last one comes from... I'm going to butcher this, but that's life. Estaré, Todavía Estaré. Estaré? Whatever. They say, Dear XL Omega and Lucky of the Lake. I'm the pretty one.
Does that mean that Lucky throws me at people as a form of government?
That sounds about right. Honestly, like, because
now we need a Tear Rabbit hand throwing a sword at somebody.
That would be the bonk. Oh, that reminds me, I need to add Pirate Hat Lucky to the list. But no, like, I think that's fair. Like, honestly, I'll yell and stuff, but if I have to, I'll go get you and be like, Omega.
And then Omega's like, okay, hold on, let me put on my daddy pants. What's going on? Is there a problem here? Do you need something? Guys, you're killing me.
Anyway, as they say, after past few events, I'm taking a slight break from farming.
Fair enough. Just
to end up grinding for other things. So my question is thus. What has been your most recent distraction from the tedium of farming? Distraction? Honestly, this might sound like a cop-out, but fucking Final Fantasy XIV. I've been playing this a lot.
So I bought all 4 Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games, and I'm currently 50% of the way through. That's what's been eating up my past couple of weeks.
Like, I'm not doing a lot, but I have Final Fantasy XIV open right now, and I'm just bumming around Limsa Lomensa, listening to people scream about bunny boys, and being slightly horny on main.
I mean, I don't, it is getting later. I don't know if Lucky wants to go on that, but I wouldn't mind trying a thing if you found something we can try. Gartic Phone. I've heard about that.
What is Gartic Phone?
I've heard that name, but I don't know what it does. Maybe we'll look into it.
Drawful?
Oh, is it a drawful type thing?
I don't want to do a drawful type thing.
No. Storm 2 goes all the way to pain. Storm 2 covers a lot of shit. Well, like I said, if you are interested in our Naruto conversation, which I do know several people are, tune into What's Up, which will be later today if this is public, tomorrow if you're listening as a patron. Because I actually have I've been thinking about this one a lot as I've been playing the games and stuff. So we're gonna have a nice long Omega talks about stuff, and also other things. But yeah, so that's our distractions. I'm not opposed to a community game night. Perhaps Loth, you could give us some kind of link or description of it. Because I gotta say, let's see, that was our last question, which I do think we have answered sufficiently. We are at about 2 hours 15 minutes. It's 11 o'clock at night. We do definitely need to talk about our Meihousou thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess we'll see how long that takes us, whether or not we want to jump in for the Lost Boat 4 pregame. Stretch. Because obviously my notes are all written, but I also don't necessarily want to rush it when I could save that for a later show that'll possibly be more on theme. Yeah. We got one more show this month, after this one.
It might be good to save. I'm not against that.
All right. But yeah, so I think that's everything on that mailbag, so that's all wrapped up.
I yeet it to the abyss.
All right, well, we've been talking for like 2 hours, so let's take 5 and then come back to some Meihousou.
Let's go.
Okay, we back.
We back.
All right, that was mailbag. I have closed that tab. No need to worry. So now we are in Free Talk. Let's talk about Meihousou. So spoilers, I guess, if you somehow haven't read it, even though you have had nothing better to do for like a week. Seriously. But yeah, we talked a little bit about everybody's different endings in mind. Everybody's different like scenes and explanations, so I don't think we need to double back over that. I definitely want to read those when they are all added to the thing, because I want to see how it was different. I find it kind of interesting how we kind of piece everything together afterward. Like, the funny thing that happens is we shoot our own ending and stuff, and then Murasaki wakes up, and then she tells us what she had in mind.
Mm-hmm.
which is Lucky probably appreciated this. She mentions that it was a riff on one of the sections of the Tale of Genji.
Mhm.
And I gotta admit, I'm not really this bit of the ending section of this writing is really weird. Maybe it's just because they had to write it generically for no matter who won.
Yeah.
But I guess the impression I got from reading it was that MASH is kind of sad that even though we came up with our own cool improv ending, we kind of didn't get to Murasaki's ending, even though we don't have enough time to shoot more material because arbitrary time limits.
Yeah, well, the way I interpret that is basically throughout this whole movie, we're all working together, coming up with all these ideas, and coming together to make this movie. And Murasaki, whose whole time, this was kind of be her project to run, has been out of commission only to wake up after we're done.
Right.
So it's just
yeah.
So
MASH being MASH, she feels pretty bad, and she's like, "Gosh, do you wish we could go back and like do the version of the movie she wanted?" And the kind of conclusion is not the way that MASH thinks we could, but Moriarty and Dr. Roman hatch a clever plan after meeting in secret to make that work out and basically do it by recycling a lot of the documentary footage, because in case you didn't pick up on this, we've been shooting in and out of character constantly.
Yeah.
So we actually have documentary, behind the scenes footage of the fight with Bart, the interaction between Izo
Moriarty and Ryan.
Yeah. That lots of extra Moriarty scenes where he's doing stuff that he wouldn't be doing because he was dead. And basically we were able to take all that extra content and recut it so that a version of Murasaki's story exists. Though obviously our own version also exists because it was in the editing bay when Murasaki woke up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a little ambiguous for what part of it is actually like excuse me, sorry. Like which bit kind of concludes it. I guess it was just still time based that the singularity goes away.
Well, to be fair, like this might seem like a cop out, but honestly, it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. And you know why it doesn't matter, Lucky? Because it's a movie.
Yeah.
So I think this is really interesting, and I actually like this bit of meta commentary. Now you may think to yourself, that's a little weird. It's, calling it just a movie and all that weird stuff, because Fate has recently been going very ham on movie adaptations. But I think what Moriarty meant when he was talking with Dr. Roman, which, by the way, is not explained, it doesn't have to be.
Well, actually, no. They call it out, but don't explain it, which is great.
They lampshade it, but they don't offer any in-universe explanation. The reason why Dr. Roman and Murasaki and Moriarty and all that blah 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 can be there is because it's a movie. It's just a movie. And specifically, I think what they're homaging is they're homaging how anime movies usually are, which is unlike what Fate has been doing lately, where they try and adapt the bulk of a work as one or more movies. Heaven's Feel obviously adapting the bulk of the route. The Camelot movies, both parts. Solomon obviously upcoming. Is they're talking about, like, I mentioned, my request of Naruto and stuff. Classic shonen movies, which are usually arguably non-canon, don't make any fucking sense, include extra characters for no reason, and are never mentioned again. Which is what Meihousou is going for. Yeah, Loth brought it up. Kamen Rider movies are not canon because they fuck with the timeline. I expect a lot of crossover movies are like that as well.
I mean, it's literally that. Like, we talked about this before, how, honestly, a lot of these characters should not be in the same place together.
Yeah. But this is basically, as a limited time cinematic event, this is a perfect opportunity for the writers to make up some non-canon shit and just put some characters together. Moriarty and Dr. Roman should not have an opportunity to hang out. That's not how the timeline works. But, through the magic of movies, they can. And it's actually kind of a cute story.
Yeah. It's a nice little what if.
Yes. And not in like a weird retread way, but just in like a funny haha, like, oh, let's just pick up some favorite characters and throw them in there. And we can throw MASH in there, and we can do some
because remember, and I think that's fair, because at no points where there's any fucking actual stakes. Like, ever.
No, the stakes is, hey, we've got a mini singularity to fix. We think it's movie related. What if we put to bed the regrets that make this singularity by shooting a movie?
We get a grail out of it, and, that's great. If not, oh well, we're out of grail. And, like, at several points of the thing, we're just like, oh no, Like, at the end, we're just like, oh, no, fuck it, just come on back. And we're like, no, we'll stay.
We'll figure it out. We'll
Yeah.
write it out. We have literally 2 fights, one of which is just our usual nonsense of, like, these servants are being unruly.
Boop a snoop. But, like, honestly, like, I honestly do enjoy stories like this. Like, something, like, I enjoy, like, this is something I actually do wish we had a little bit more in FGO, is just slice of life kind of things, of where there's no real stakes, but we're gonna basically take all these characters all throughout history, and we're just gonna put them in a room together and make them do stuff, and let their characters,
right,
and like do,
and that's
like,
kind of that's perfectly set up by the the improv nature, right? When they're like, no, listen, Murasaki didn't have enough time to develop your character backstories, but she's assigned everybody a character they are comfortable doing. Just be you.
Mm-hmm.
Jalter, just be hot and bitchy. Boom. Sold. Salieri, be classy but slightly bitter about everything. And then we have a Mary on hand to reel him in if he goes too ham.
I love how that's just the calm down French people button is just bringing Marie in.
And Arash is just like, ahem. Just like gives her a little signal for her to appear in the background, and Salieri just kind of winds it in. Also, the other thing this is about writing, basically. Like, they say it's a movie, but other than the fact that we are physically using a DaVinci special camera, at no point does the fact that it's a movie ever really come up that much. Like,
No,
I think the only time we discuss SFX is when we need the Canon shots, and then that's just an audio cue. Like, mostly it's about how to write the scenes, because our scriptwriter has passed the fuck out.
And you get into a lot of, the different types of scripts, different types of scenes, talking about, getting into, like, character motivations, how you can bring character emotions into scenes. It's like, they also talk about writing tricks, because they don't know the conclusion when we start the script, right? Right.
We're just kind of going along, trying to figure it out. We're doing improv, and then we reach a point of, like, shit, where do we go from here? We've had an interruption. Our improv is fucked, because Salazar got deported, basically, and Oz has to leave as a result. So we're like, shit, we need to rewrite everything to figure it out. So they have to have this brainstorming session. Very common in collab writing. You got to brainstorm. And they do things that actually... This reminds me of a podcast I listened to recently, which I may or may not bring back up. But they were talking about doing a deep design of RPG game design, doing some deep dives. They're talking about, like, Apocalypse World and why a lot of people find it easier to run than some other games, because a lot of older school RPGs were written from the idea that that the quintessential game master is a liberal arts or an English major. Yeah, that one, X. I'm gonna give some spoilers for what they talk about in Apocalypse World. But they talk about how, like, a lot of game designs were written from the idea that your game master has probably at least casually, if not seriously, studied basic elements of story archetype, story structure, blah blah blah. I mean, you can just go to the Kickstarter page; it's already linked, and then find the episode 0. That's the only one that's out. I could link it directly, but I may or may not do that later if I remember. I still have my note about check fuck. Yes, Lucky, it's been 2 hours. I still remember what check fuck is for.
Excellent.
The writing the note worked. But no, as I was saying, like, this is a podcast by 3 game designers talking about game design. They talk about how in a lot of those earlier games, a lot of these things were written from a perspective that, like, you know a little bit about writing tropes and you understand that. And I feel kind of like Meihousou is from a similar point. While obviously they do explain a lot of these beats, it's got a lot of this commentary, right? I'm sure the writers had a lot of fun writing this because they got to lampshade a lot of stuff. As seen, obviously, where several of our solutions were very meta, right?
Yeah.
Like, Jalter's was meta in its own way, flipping around the camera, relying on an unreliable narrator. A classic subversion. And then Tristan's being even more meta. So I actually, obviously, hey, guess what? Writing nerd likes writing about writing.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that long ago? Sorry, Axe is technically bothering me about things, but if it has been a while since I mean, you could probably just control F Kickstarter, but there it is. I found it. It's literally from 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, that reminds me of something about... Well, it's nothing relevant here, but remember that I had a point about asking for help. No.
Okay,
Just reminding myself.
But yeah, no. So this story is interesting for me as an amateur writing nerd. I do have a liberal arts degree, by the way. That's my first one, number 2, not the 4 one, the 2 one. So like, yeah, obviously, I ate up all this stuff about talking about like the improv and stuff. Honestly, what I found least interesting were some of the kind of behind the scenes stuff, like as important as it is that Roman and Moriarty have that little convo about like setting up we're gonna flip this and flip that, I actually didn't find it that important. Because it's not really important to the structure of the plot. It's just kind of to fill people in on why we may be doing this. And also, I think just to also be like, okay, but it's not like, don't freak out. It's not an evil scheme kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Telling you to relax. But no, this was very interesting. I liked it a lot. Any specific thoughts you had about your Meihousou experience, Lucky?
No, you hit a lot of the points. Like, unfortunately, I'm not as prolific as a writer as you. Like, Lucky dabbles. Like, I can write a scenario. I can do short form fiction and whatnot.
And you understand a lot of the basic tropes and stuff. Like, we need we've had rising action, now we need a climax.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I know, like, Skeleton, like, if pressed, I could probably write something. Like, I do plan on writing. I do like writing. It's just, I got so much shit to do. But, so, I did enjoy this a lot from the being on, like, I enjoyed being on the opposite side of the camera, I guess is the best way to say it. On the operating side of the camera. And seeing everyone go through these process of trying to figure out what they're gonna hit. I think I mentioned this a bit. Trying to, see what their characters do, trying to get in character, explaining their character thoughts and why, and coming up with, theories and reasons for what they would do next. I think that's the part I like the most, is watching them progress the story based on what they know and what they think.
Yeah, and that's a quintessential part of any creative process. It's very important if you're doing improvisational storytelling, period. Yeah. But just in general, hey guys, guess what? All storytelling is at some point improvisational. You made up at some point. You have to make shit up, otherwise you're not actually writing. You're just plagiarizing.
Like, honestly, like, I guess that's the best way to put it. Is like, I really enjoyed the improv of it, because I would say, Lucky, I'm pretty good at improv. Like, I wouldn't say I can go on a goddamn stage and come up with an hour-long comedy routine, but I could probably get, like 15, 20 minutes and then bail and run out the door. So, like, seeing, like, that done in FGO with FGO servants is something that I found very fascinating, because it lets you look into a little bit of the process. Like, talking about Arash being like, yeah, my clairvoyance doesn't actually really work here, so let me do things a different way. Let me find this paint. Oh god, there's fucking wet paint on this painting. Let's add this to the story and go from there. Kind of was I don't want to say it was necessarily a red herring, but it's a
situation where, because the script is not written, the characters don't know it's significant yet, just like the audience doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not a deliberate red herring. It's not a deliberate trope that our author placed there to throw the readers off the scent, right? They don't know what of these details are relevant. They don't have their characters locked in, so they're writing the story as we go along.
Yeah.
Also, Lost said this is a joke, but I do also think this is very appropriate for us who frequently go on multi-hour rambles about tabletop RPGs. This is very much how tabletop gaming goes, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's all.
You have a very rough skeleton of a character, which may or may not stay consistent throughout time. Your game master usually has a rough skeleton of a plot, but they cannot pre-prep for everything for players, because players will inevitably find the one thing you haven't prepped for and go there. So, like, it's all a form of collaborative improv storytelling. Usually you have dice in most games as kind of a pure chaos arbiter for, like, making it so that things do that. I mean, it's not necessarily about... I wouldn't necessarily characterize it as being nice or not. Especially for a lot of, like, older style games or the way games are written. It's not necessarily even approached in the design of the game of, like, the idea that this or this isn't written, Mm. Again, this is something this podcast I want to talk more about at a different time in a multi-hour rant on WhatsApp. Ludonarrative Dissidence. Yeah, it's a very big boy name. But I honestly think that just back in the day, a lot of games like earlier editions of D&D, and 5e kind of tries to have its cake and eat its too about being simulationist enough. But a lot of these games are like written to be like, no, you're simulating these characters in a world with a plot the game master has written. Stuff happens when the players aren't there or without their input. So, obviously, like, the players don't even stop to think, oh, this is improv theater. This dungeon could be anything. They're like, nah, this dungeon clearly has rules, and so every room we go in will do this thing or X, Y, or Z. And then the game master's like, shit, I never wrote what's behind that secret door. I just thought it would be cool. Players aren't built on that. This is why, this is what this podcast was doing in analyzing the game Apocalypse World and all Powered by Apocalypse games. Powered by the Apocalypse World games are not like that. It's very light on the GM handle. The GM, none of the mechanics are GM facing. Like, all of your options are players roll dice, and then depending on what they do, you do stuff. Or, this is something they didn't necessarily cover in the podcast very well, Lucky. They did not characterize that the book says you can use your moves even when the players aren't rolling dice, where you can use your moves to move the story along if the players aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
But it's not super important to the game design, but that's still the thing, right? If your players are not advancing the story by not doing anything, you can use the mechanics in that player-facing way to be like, okay, you guys aren't doing anything, I will pitch up something to make you chivvy forward a little bit. Yeah. So,
gives
we really like RPGs, so I think that, like, this having a lot of those RPG-esque elements, which, again, wouldn't be shocked if the whoever wrote this event, or whatever combos of writers, God knows, they might have even gotten a couple of different people to come together and brainstorm, would have been on theme. But I know, for instance, Nasu definitely plays RPGs.
Yes.
Hence why Fate is so obviously D&D influenced. There's no laughing about it. It's just alignments. Literal D&D alignments. Nobody else uses those. So, yeah. I think that's probably why we had a lot of fun with this.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I hope we do more things like this.
Yeah, this was good. This was just a very relaxed little event. It reminds me of Kogetsukan, but Kogetsukan was very much a send-up of literally just mysteries.
Yes.
Which fit, because it was written to tie in with a couple of escape rooms they were doing that were mystery-themed. And I mean, it's funny, I think Meihousou comes at a time as we're gearing up for one or more Fate movies to come out, right?
Right.
It's an interesting bit of timing. It did not work out that way for JP. I think this was 2 years ago, so this would have been, I think they maybe announced that they would do Camelot as a movie at this anniversary. That sounds about right on the time frames, but no, it was not very clear, so it was still a while ago. Was it on 3 when they announced? Man, that took them a while. I guess they had a long pre-production time. Even so, then that's even more nonsensical. Also, no, it was not 3 years ago. We're 2 years behind them. They started in 2015. We started in 2017 or 2018? Maybe we're coming on a 3rd anniversary. But you got to remember, the anniversary doesn't count the actual year that happened before it. So when we reach anniversary 3, we're technically starting our 4th year. So it was on the Scotty year they announced that. Man, that's a fucking long production time. Yeah, so that just makes it make even less sense, right?
Right.
This was not necessarily tying into anything. This was probably literally improv to buy time, because they're like, fuck, people are complaining there's no content. We know that we're not going to have a lot of content before Lost Belt 4. What do we do?
Honestly, thinking about it, this actually was probably, I wouldn't say it was quick to churn out, but it probably didn't take as much long to get people out.
Because there are only 2 battles, there's no new servants, Bard is going to come out at this anniversary, right? So obviously his design already exists, so that's already several months ahead of time. They probably had plenty of time to be like, oh shit, we got like 2 weeks we need to kill in June, and the players are like, guys, you probably, because stuff's compacted for us, you guys probably don't understand it. We're having a different kind of fatigue. For JP players at this time a couple of years ago, people were getting very sassy very rapidly about the lack of new content. Because obviously it's quite stretched out. So, yeah, no. I expect they got a read early on when this process started in the lead up to LB4. They were like, ooh, yeah, we don't have enough stuff. Players are starting to get a little antsy. What can we throw together? We can do like a Jalter release. We can release Jalter. Again, we can bring her back. She's popular, and we can like work her into an event with some characters, and then they probably just got some writers together, and they probably kit bash it out, just like how we made the movie. Wouldn't be shocked if it was a very honest form of writing. Meihousou, it's good. I want more of these. I don't. I think our new filler thing is Grail Wars, Grail Front, because those don't require any writing.
Yep.
Which, I mean, I can't blame them for either. I mean, I get it. But I would not mind more of these as a more tempered form of filler or buying time.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're quite interesting to read, but also I think they are actually, quite low impact and relaxed.
Yeah, no, this is why I'm, like, super stoked for fucking, Fate Grand Carnival. It's like, there's no stakes. It's only jokes. It's only good times and laughs.
That, and they're showing some great key art for that.
Oh yeah, they did actually, I think they showed off some more, I believe.
Yes, recently. I believe Shuten and Ibaraki were shown. Was Dantes shown in the most recent one? I think it was. They've already shown off Da Vinci previously. They had a couple of ones. They got some good-looking skips. Oh yeah, Resh. I think you're right, she was in one. Helena. I believe they also showed off some Summers, like Summer Nero and stuff. Sorry, bumped my pop filter. Yeah, okay, let's see. Where are we at? 240-ish, 245-ish, but with some editing, we had some spaces in there. Honestly, lucky how you feel about this. I was thinking I would do Fan Servant Friday anyway, but that requires me to have a lot more brain right now than I do.
So I think we have enough. If nothing crazy happens, we'll have the pregame and Fan Servant Friday next week, along with Bird Knows and stuff. So I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
I think it's fine to wait.
All right. So I know you guys. Some of you have been hitting us up for longer episodes. I can be sure that once Lost Belt 4 hits, because spoilers for the pregame, it's 20 sections, and some of them are chunky. So, like, having done my notes, I do think we will have a wealth of stuff to talk about with Lost Belt 4 over several shows. But I do think it is a little bit early to pull the trigger on it. I just wanted to write it to be sure, and because I was like, man, there's fucking nothing. Though this was before Lucky expanded a couple of these news points, which I think we had some good discussion about. So, yeah, that's a wrap on Meihousou. Keep your eyes and ears open for that interlude campaign, and also for sure if they announce the pre-release campaign, obviously, but in JP that was a couple days after they announced the interlude campaign they ran that one, so they will not necessarily come out at the same time, or they might, because we know the schedule and they know what they got to get out of the way, so we'll see. So keep your eyes and ears open for news. We'll keep our eyes and ears open for news as well. Obviously, I had to dust out a news desk because we had something that happened technically on a Thursday night. So, if there's anything sudden, we'll let you know. I'm hoping there'll be plenty of a week time. I'm probably going to definitely script and do assets, if not go ahead and shoot Wanted Ganesha next week. Just to get it out there, because they could shock us.
Sure.
Other than that, I don't think there's super much to discuss. Obviously, this rerun thing will be keeping people busy in JP for a while. So, yeah, that's the full 3. Yeah, that's almost 4 weeks from now, technically, because it's 19th. So that's 1, 2, 3. Holy shit, that is in fact literally 4 weeks. Was it that long originally? I mean, technically, I guess it's like 3 full weeks, but it's like it starts at the 19th, 26th, 2nd, 9th. Like, that's a long time. So yeah, we'll let you know if anything surprising comes out of that. I'm not sure if anything will come out of the rerun right away. Like, they haven't announced anything, but you never know. They might sneak something into the second half, right?
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a second part banner at least we gotta hit up. So I think that's everything. All right, then I hope you enjoyed your big old mailbag.
Big old mailbag.
There's a scritch, and we will. Actually, that's a good question. Why are people speculating a Fujino banner before I even do the outro? Is it like a seasonal thing? Is it her birthday soon? Oh, okay, it is almost her birthday. I could see that. I mean, she's a limited unit. You never know. They got to come up with reasons to give those banners.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not doing anything else, why the fuck not, right? Like, FGO's not shy about doing banners for old servants and sometimes upsetting people with them and not doing new stuff. We'll see. It's possible. I don't remember who posted it now because it was a long time ago and we've had a full show worth of people in chat yelling at us. But also somebody did actually post a screen grab from somebody, where apparently during the Idol event, Elizabeth of Japan appears and she does say that it will be the year of Halloween this year.
Excited.
So that does probably mean that there will be okay, it was Tyranna King. I was like, I have no idea of remembering who said that. Somebody posted in Patreon chat. I wanted to remember it before the show started. That was Tengu, okay. Alright, so yeah. But anyway, sometime this year, Liz Japan said Halloween would happen this year, so we'll see what's up there.
Excited.
Obviously, that's several months away, but, we'll see what happens. I mean, people do want a Fujino banner. I think it's fair. I did sneak one in at the last minute. Not that I was aiming for her, but, well, first of all, I'd love if they canonized that Oniland is actually on top of the pyramid. It's not, obviously, because it's in a place in real Japan, but it would be funny if somehow it was on top of Himeji Castle, on top of the pyramid, on top of Castle Prestige. It's castles all the way down, kids.
No. We're gonna reverse it. We're gonna drop the fucking Sajet pyramid castle.
Oh, we're finally gonna make the pyramid the right way up? Perfect. Toriaizu, it's time for the outro, now that we've had our fun little bit of extra speculation. So, switching everything out. This has been the show. If you're watching this video on YouTube and you like it, be sure to give it a like. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. You can also join our Discord. Link is in the description and on our channel page, as always. So check it out. And of course, if you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. We were getting much closer to 3K, but I think YouTube has been trimming bot accounts or something, because there's no other reason for why in like the past day we've lost like 10 subs. Well, I don't think we've done anything to piss anybody off, Lucky. So consider subscribing to get us over that beautiful 3K number. Maybe YouTube will acknowledge us. Also, even if you're already subscribed, make sure to hit that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream, like what's up. And, of course, you can also join our channel via memberships. We're still discussing ever more emotes, which may or may not appear in memberships eventually. We do have limited slots, so it's kind of a thing. But the more memberships we get, the more slots we have, so check it out. And lastly, like I said at the front of the video, be sure to consider supporting us on Patreon. You get access to this episode early in audio format, downloadable for as little as $1 a month or $10 a year. You can also get access to videos early, topic polls like our Fan Servant Friday, which I will be covering next week. And also, I have been thinking, maybe I should write down and solidify my ideas, but I am thinking that, even for a limited time, perhaps, Teach Omega Sensei will be back next month. A couple of people have asked for some stuff, and I'll mull it over. I'll see what the response is to those things. We can work out some stuff. So that will all be done through Patreon polls as well, and you get shoutouts and credits and other stuff, and it really helps us out. So that is everything. Well, I mean, I don't know if we'll get Memorial Day quartz. We might just get quartz for them doing a video of the broadcast release. Lucky might be buzzing a little bit in the background. Doesn't matter. It'll get edited out. I think so. I don't even know if is it being captured on my sound end? If it is, I'll just catch it and edit. I don't really see any unusual sounds in the soundboard. Yeah, I think on Discord you're producing a slight buzz or hum, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm not lighting up at all, so...
Maybe it's just a passing bit of interference. Kids, remember interference? Like, you'd get a cell phone call and, like, your headphones would buzz?
Yeah, I remember that, but... I feel like if I was transmitting sound, my light would be on at least.
But yeah, so we'll hit you up with news and stuff, and make sure to tune into What's Up if you're listening to the show live. It's either happening right now or will happen soon, so remember to slam that sub button and flap that bell, so you can be notified when the stream starts. I'm going to take a wild guess, and Lucky is going to stream Final Fantasy XIV.
I might.
But yeah, alright, that's the show. See you guys next time.
Next time.